Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ariel Helwani Show!
Back in your life on this Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. It's great to be here on a balmy Tuesday in New York City. March 11th is a date that will live in infamy for a lot of people, but if you're Ariel Helwani, it's actually a date that you celebrate. We all know 5 years ago, March 11th, everything shut down around the world. It was the beginning of the pandemic. The NBA shut down. Rudy Gobert, all that stuff. Who was it? Tom Hanks over in Australia. A crazy, crazy time. And wow, can't believe it's been 5 years, half a decade. But for myself, I always remember March 11th, ingrained in my brain, etched in my memory. March 11th, 1995, I visited Madison Square Garden for the first time. And my parents got me tickets at the beginning of the season. And so I was counting down the days to March 11th, March 11th, March 11th. And so that date always in my brain. The Knicks played the Supersonics. I was sitting in the 400s, maybe like 5 rows from the top. And I got to see Patrick Ewing in person for the first time. I remember thinking to myself, this is the most beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen. I dreamed of the moment. I got a Charles Oakley jersey. A great day. And now here I am. March 11th, 1995. I think that's 30 years later. Is that right? My math is correct? Yeah. Look at me. The Big Apple. I was just a young kid from Canada with a dream.
Me?
Yeah. And now look at me. I've got the Empire freaking State Building as my backdrop. The Canadian dream. Still alive and well. Yesterday was a great show. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed it. Post 313 PPV show. Dylan Dennis was in some kind of form. I was going to say fine form, but I'm not sure if that is 100% accurate. But it was a good time had by all. In fact, a little bit mad at Dylan because he clearly didn't want to leave, and as a result made me miss my son's soccer game at MetLife Stadium. I got there literally just as the boop, boop, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Dylan strikes again. But it was a great thrill, and I was able to. That sounds it sounds like he actually said that. It's unbelievable.
He actually did.
Oh wow! But I said, "Hey, Walter, can I get your autograph?" Like I was hanging over the thing. It was very fun. So it was a fun evening for the Helwani families and today is going to be a great show here on the program because, as you know, on Tuesdays we like to play two. Later in the day, we'll be on the DAZN Boxing YouTube channel, and we'll have our guy Ade Oladipo join us for a brand new edition of the Ariel and Ade Boxing Hour. Virgil Ortiz Jr. will stop by, and we'll talk about a whole host of things from the world of boxing on the program today. We continue to talk about the uncrowned section, the Venn diagram that is combat sports right now. The Hall of Fame promoter Lou DiBella will join us in about 7 or so minutes to talk about everything. He's very opinionated. He's very outspoken. If you've never heard Lou DiBella talk about boxing, please stick around. It's a roller coaster ride. It's a riveting experience. He doesn't hold back. He doesn't filter himself, and I can't wait to hear what he thinks about this upcoming new venture from TKO and Turki Al-Sheikh. So he'll join us at around 1:10. At around 2:10, we're going to be joined by arguably the greatest women's professional wrestler of all time, the third generation trailblazer, pioneer, an unbelievable competitor who actually is a 6-time Guinness World Record holder. Take a listen to this. Most pay-per-view appearances, most matches, most wins, most WrestleMania appearances, and most Raw and SmackDown matches by a female wrestler. She is Natalya Neidhart, the daughter of the late, great Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the niece of the great Bret the Hitman Hart and Owen Hart, of course, and the only female from that incredible family to follow in the footsteps of Stu, Bret, Owen, Jim, Davey Boy, and the list goes on and on. So she'll join us in studio. She has a fun announcement to make, and I can't wait to pick her brain on all things professional wrestling. And then we'll close out this particular program with a conversation with Rafael Fiziev, who, of course, was in action this past Saturday, lost a close one that I maintain he still won. I still believe that against Justin Gaethje, but what a performance, and it was great to have him back in the cage and see him back in the cage after being out for about a year and a half. So there's the lineup. Over at uncrowned.com right now, we have just released our brand new pound-for-pound rankings as far as mixed martial arts are concerned. Drum roll, please.
Yep.
Yeah, what you gotta do?
Yeah.
Islam Makhachev still number 1. Ilya Topuria now number 2. Merab moves up a slot. Pantoja moves up a slot. Dricus du Plessis moves up 2 slots. Aspinall 2. Magomed, or as he's calling himself now, Mohammed, Big Ankalaev, goes from unranked to 7th. John Jones down 2 slots, 8th. How about that sight? Alex Pereira down 6 slots, 9th. And Francis Ngannou down 1, 10th. We have women's as well? No real activity there, right? I don't think so.
Yeah, there's no update.
No, cool. But anyway, there you have it. Not sure if I agree with all of those, but I think how many members of our team here on the program are part of the rankings? We've got GC, Rick.
Just me and Rick on the panel.
No Frank, huh?
Nah, Frankie denied the opportunity to do it.
Wow. Frank, you actually abstained.
I did.
First time in your life.
Well, have you noticed that? Yeah, exactly. First time. Have you noticed that we do the picks for pay-per-views?
Yes, I've heard
I
about
happen
this.
to be on the last rung of that ladder, so
He's in last place.
What does that mean, last run?
And
I don't know,
I don't
dude.
think Green didn't help him this week.
Are you threatening to quit?
No, wait,
Okay.
wait.
No. He's in last place. I don't know why he said wrong
Oh,
on the ladder.
okay.
He's in
Do
last
ladders not have a rung all the way on the bottom?
They do.
Okay.
place. We're not arguing that.
Every pay-per-view, Frank has the least correct. Let's
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just,
Bottom
Is it time for me to tag myself in?
Yes, do it.
I dare
What do
you.
we need
People want.
You dare me?
Do it.
to become a picker?
I'm kind of itchy these days.
Oh, what are you,
I got itchy
you think you're just going to shoot up to the top?
I got itchy knuckles, man.
Honestly, I want to say that I'm the man wearing the crown right now, but it's actually one man in the hat. Chuck
No,
Mendenhall is-
incorrect.
Oh,
Incorrect. It is actually Drake Riggs.
Drake
who has
Riggs
moved
takes
into
over.
first place.
Wow. What do you have,
Shout
a
out to
perfect
Drake.
5-0 weekend?
I think he was 4-1.
Wow.
Shout out to Drake. He has
bad.
overtaken Chuck, who was the
All right, so you
leader
don't
from
need me.
all the way at the start in
Chuck
2024.
must have had a bad weekend. Chuck was like 15-1 going into this
I
weekend.
mean, we all kind of got washed. Like, it was not great.
No one asked me.
Listen.
What was your
me?
last pick?
You talked to
I
editor.
actually
Pereira by KO?
I actually tweeted,
Yeah.
prayer bike, and then
Whitaker before that?
No, I had another one that I screwed up on.
like your reference.
I picked DDP. Did I screw one up?
I don't think any of us can talk, honestly. I mean, the
No,
Parlay
we-
Pals have lost like 9 straight. I got washed last weekend in bets, you know.
Tough
Everyone
sledding.
likes a comeback.
We don't have a crystal ball over here.
Nah, it's tough. MMA picks are tough. Do want to mention? I was just talking about Big Ankh. He did land back home in Dagestan. What a hero's welcome for the big man, the brand new UFC light heavyweight champion. Take a look at this scene, courtesy of our friends over at Red Corner MMA. Look at that crowd.
The aura grows for Big Ankh.
I mean, the last time I saw that many people at a Dagestani airport, well, I'll leave it at that. No, it's great. You know, this is the kind of stuff that you love to see. No, by the way, this never happens for an American champion. You ever notice that? American champion comes home, like they fly into Colorado, they fly into God knows where, Phoenix. There's like 3 people there. Why is that? Is it because there's so many American champions out there?
Yeah, I just think the amount of it, and like we focus on sports that aren't combat.
Right. But that is great. And he did a bunch of media, and he said negotiations already underway for the rematch. So we had Yuri on yesterday. He had some harsh words. We'll talk to Jan Blachowicz tomorrow on the program. We'll get his take on what transpired. And obviously, he has a massive fight coming up in about 11 days' time against Carlos Ulberg. I'm really looking forward to that fight. That feels like a gigantic one in the light heavyweight division. Looks like they're going to go in that direction. It's the right call. It's the expected call. And I'm wondering when it's going to happen. Is it going to happen before October? It seemed like he wanted Abu Dhabi. Let's see. Now, also yesterday, we had a few face-offs. I just want to show one of them for now. We'll talk more about these later in the day and on the Ariel Helwani program. But did you see Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barbosa Jr. get into it? This is in Los Angeles, the second leg of the Times Square card tour, and they go back and forth. I must say, this press conference, infinitely more interesting and fun than the one in New York this time last week. Everyone brought it. There was a lot of heat between Garcia and Romero. And there's the swipe. Did he connect? I'm not quite sure. But there's the swipe. There's the ring belt. And there's Barbosa and Teofimo Lopez having to be broken up. But great stuff from Garcia. Great stuff from Devin Haney. Bill Haney was all fired up. And so we are inching closer to that card. A man who knows a thing or two about the New York fight scene will be our first guest of the day in studio. He is a Hall of Fame inductee for the International Boxing Hall of Fame back in 2020, International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame inductee in 2024, former HBO Sports head of programming, the creator of Boxing After Dark. And in addition to those ventures, he is the owner of the minor league baseball team, the Richmond Flying Squirrels, whose new season kicks off in about 30 days' time. They're actually building a brand new ballpark over there, the CarMax Park. It's under construction right now. He's the legendary Lou DiBella, who's going to tell it to us like it is about everything going on in the wild and wacky world of boxing. Here he comes, the man himself, Mr. Lou DiBella. How are you, sir?
I'm real good to see you,
I
bro.
like this. I like this. You came with notes.
I just was jotting some stuff.
I appreciate it. Make yourself comfortable.
I'm gonna take this off. Yeah.
Welcome. Do you want to hang it up somewhere?
Yeah,
You put-
back in my chair somewhere.
How are you, sir?
I'm all right, bro.
Yeah?
Running 2 AA baseball teams, building a stadium in Richmond. Opening day's a couple of weeks away. Really busy.
The Flying Squirrels.
Yeah, I started my process. I sort of saw a lot of what was happening right now coming.
Yeah.
And my process of allocating my time differently began a few years ago. So right now, I'm pretty much heavily invested in baseball.
But you still, DiBella Entertainment is still around.
I still exist. Yeah.
Cambosa's fighting.
But Cambosis is fighting. But let's face realities. Most promoters, as we know them, are going away. And at some point, I'll make the transition. I'll advise people if I feel like it. It's interesting because we'll get into our conversation. This will organically come out.
No,
But
we're
it's
in it.
interesting to watch the big boys now get relegated to what they made everybody else, which were middlemen. And right now, make no mistake about it, the major promoters have been middlemen for the last couple of years. Because let me ask you a question. You're
Sure.
the interviewer, but I want to ask you the question.
Yeah, please.
Who's been the most major promoter in boxing over the last couple of years?
I think Eddie Hearn is the best.
And who has been the most powerful promoter in boxing?
Oh, Turkey.
Correct.
Yeah.
Stop. That's
Yeah.
it.
But okay, so I thought maybe it was a trick question.
No, it's not a true. No, that's the point.
Well, technically,
No,
he's
no.
not a promoter, right?
Oh no, he's a promoter, bro.
Okay. He doesn't have a promoter's
Who
license.
gives a fuck about a promoter's license? Stop with promoter's licenses.
Okay.
Stop. Who gives a fuck?
Well,
right?
old
Doesn't
school
matter.
would say.
No, I don't give a shit about old school. Old school's gone.
Okay.
Okay.
So how do you feel about all this?
I don't give a shit.
You don't give a shit.
I think it's interesting.
You're very passionate about it. You tweet about it.
I tweet about it. It was inevitable, and Dana will tell you I've been in his we're not close or anything, but
Sure.
Texts and conversations over the course of the last X number of years, particularly after the WWE merger and
Yeah.
formation of TKO. This was inevitable, right? And frankly, Turkey making the 4 major guys all his little peons, it made this much more doable. And now you have a company capitalized on the stock exchange to 26, 27 million, depending on how you measure it.
Right.
With UFC alone, capitalized 11 billion, 26, 27 billion, 11 billion, and economically supported by the deepest pockets in the world. They're pretty much well set up for this.
So when you found out about this last week, and it was the worst kept secret.
It was not a secret.
Okay. Your initial reaction was what? Inevitable?
Inevitable, and that I think it couldn't be at a better time.
Why is that?
Come on. Like you have, first of all, everything, the environment in this country, right? Who's more in with the government right now than Dana and Joe Rogan? And,
Right.
and just stretch that out to Nick Khan and Ari,
Right.
right? When Ari starts talking a couple of weeks ago about the Ali Act and how it was bad law,
Yeah.
that said to me the Ali Act doesn't have a lot of time left. And maybe, by the way, I think the Ali Act, parts of the Ali Act should not be repealed.
You helped write the Aliyah.
Yes, I did, with
Yes.
John McCain, who was a friend of mine.
Right.
And I helped write the Aliyah. But there are parts of the Aliyah that no longer make any sense.
Like what?
I mean, why can't a promotion have its own belts? Well, why are we protecting the ratings organizations?
Okay, so why did you put that in there, or why were you a part of the process
I mean,
of putting that
because
in
I mean, it really wasn't. That wasn't the main thrust of the act, but it was trying at that point in time when they went. Look, that was being written at a time period where boxing was, as it usually is, totally Dodge City.
there? Right.
Which is one of the reasons why the whole system has to come down. And the greatest reason I think that Dana and Nick and the TKO people with Turkey's money have a tremendous chance to pull this off. First of all, Turkey's already the most powerful promoter in the business, right? So the second that this new company starts functioning, they are the biggest promoter in this business.
Right.
The other promoters have never been willing to work with one another, including, I mean, I was part of the system. By the way, I haven't had my life's been miserable, like not miserable, but it's been very difficult to be as successful as I've been with no platform, which I haven't had a platform since all these exclusive deals started happening. So to some extent, when Eddie and others, Aram, said I was a middleman, to some extent they're right, but what are they now? They're middlemen. And what have they been for the last couple of years? Middlemen. And you don't think Turkey saw that? You think that, Turkey's a smart guy, man. Like, you could say whatever you want, your feelings about Saudis being very active in sports. You can say, put all that aside. The man's a fan. And here's where he has a great advantage. He's a fan. He believes in quality control. And he believes the system is broken.
Do you believe it's broken?
I've been saying it for 20-something years. I've been saying it since I was an HBO executive. I've been, frankly, the only voice in the whole industry of self-criticism for most of the last 20 years. That's a fact. I mean, in fact, Eddie is wild, bro. He's wild.
What do you mean?
I just saw an interview with Eddie saying, man, I'm chill because I'm the greatest promoter. Look,
Yeah.
Eddie's gifted, like Don King was gifted. Eddie is Don King 2025 in the bombastic personality. I'll never be as tall as Eddie. I'll never be as good looking as Eddie. Eddie is like a celebrity in the UK. Eddie has a great sense of P.T. Barnum-esque promotion, right? That's his great self. But he's sitting going, I'm chill because I'm confident in my own company. But what I will take issue with is people saying boxing is broken. Go fuck yourself, Ed. You know it's broken. You know it's broken.
Why do you think he says that?
Because he's the same reason all these guys have been supporting the system. It's made them wealthy. By the way, Eddie's a little lost right now. In one interview, he's talking about retirement. In another interview, he's talking about I'm the best in the world. I think he's considering retirement eventually, and I also think he is one of the best in the world. I don't take that away from him. I mean, there are gifted people. Look, Eddie's a gifted guy. Aram was a gifted guy. It takes panache. It takes a very thick skin. It takes some brains to be able to survive in the Wild West that boxing has been. There are talented people sprinkled all over the place. But we never had our shit together. We've been a shit show. It's completely self-evident. You got to remember, I was called the czar of boxing for a decade.
Come closer to the mic if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, let me
Yeah, you can move it. Do whatever you want.
I was called, when I was at HBO, I was controlling their budget. We were maybe overstepping our bounds as a TV network a little bit.
How so?
Well, not really overstepping our bounds, but operating differently than anyone ever had before. Because the sport is lawlessness. And I used our budget to make the fights I wanted to make. There was a period of time that Aram and I didn't talk for a year. I didn't buy any of his fights because he didn't like the idea I was making matches. Well, guess what? I was paying for them. I love the fact that Turkey makes the matches he wants to make. He pays insane money on the highest level, and he's made certain matches that because he wanted to see them and paid money that was completely not, in my mind, from a pure business standpoint, justifiable. But he kept boxing alive the last couple of years. But I don't believe he ever did it with an intent of leaving this system in place. What's business 101, bro? If you want to take out some people or make change, what's the easiest way to make change? Take the powers that are, make them beholden to you, buy them, in effect, and you're in a much better position to defeat them or defeat the existing system.
So do you think this was always the plan?
Yeah.
Come in, do business with everyone.
You can't make it. Here's another way that they're operating in a manner that I think is intelligent. They're clearly there's not going to, people keep talking about league.
It's not a league.
It's not a league.
It's a promotion.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a promotion in the Dana White,
UFC
Nick
promotion.
Khan, UFC,
WWE.
WWE sense.
Yes.
Which can work. It's not a promotion in the boxing sense.
Correct.
With every man for himself, bro.
Right.
With no one giving a fuck about the future of your sport. With no reinvestment being made. With no long-term game plan, right? If they want this to work, they don't have to be concerned with putting other people out. They don't have to be. They're not going to. They can't shut down the BC, the BA, the IBF, the BO overnight. They're not going to cause. Eddie's a talented guy. Eddie will find some secondary place. See, what makes me think Eddie might retire, and honestly, on a human level, I get this because in my mind and in my heart, I've been in a process of sort of disengaging from the sport for a while. Eddie doesn't want to play anything to be number 2 or 3 or 4. Like when Eddie came to America with the DAZN money, he was going to create a UFC. He was going to become the UFC. I'm going to use my giant budget. Well, he went back to England. As much as success and money he's made, as much success as he had, he went back to England with his tail between his legs.
You think so?
Oh yeah. But you think what? You think that Matchroom took over American boxing?
No.
What's American boxing right now? Well, what happened to the Matchroom USA and the DAZN offices in the big building skyscraper down the road? What happened to that? I mean, how many subs are there in DAZN America right now? Do you know?
No.
Neither do I. Neither does anyone.
Right.
You think it's a lot? How many people you think really watched Bivol and Beterbiev in North America?
No, it's
Okay.
that was.
How many people watched the heavyweight championship of the world in the middle of the afternoon in North America?
Right.
Okay. These are rhetorical questions. You know the answers. Mm-hmm. We don't have to debate it.
Right.
Because the reality is you can't sit here and say the sport's healthy.
Is it fair to say it's healthy overseas? It's healthy in the UK?
No, it's not.
Maybe not here
UK,
in America.
maybe.
UK?
UK.
UK midday, they're talking about it like we talk about
where,
the NFL.
Man? You know, Boxer has a deal in Sky.
Right.
And everything is streaming. I mean, is it okay? Yeah, it's way healthier.
Wembley
UK
Stadium,
boxing,
98,000.
With Anthony, there's about 2 stars. Or 3
Sure.
stars. Here's another one. Who can walk down the street in boxing and get harassed everywhere? It's not that many people.
Sure.
And who are the mega stars in boxing? Fair to say Canelo number 1?
Yeah.
Probably Joshua number 2.
Tyson Fury, Joshua. Tyson's recognizable.
Well, I don't know. You think I honestly probably think 6 of 1, half a dozen.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest heavyweight fight you can make because boxing is healthy in UK. Also, the Saudis are somewhat UK centric. Mm-hmm. That's where they all go to school. That's where the kids all go to school. It's the same time zone, basically, roughly, right? It's healthy in England. It's not in UK, but it's not particularly healthy in most of the world. I mean, if you look back to boxing in 1985, 1995, 2005, it's weaker worldwide now than it's ever been.
100%. I mean, it wasn't. ABC was showing, the fight of the century on a Monday night, right? Everything was different. You can't compare. But we got into a little thing.
I made the point that when Eddie came over here, he was thinking, okay, all that DAZN money will allow me to be the guy, create something like UFC like.
Yeah.
You heard that same rhetoric when they had the initial press conference for PBC. Not from Al Heyman, because Al doesn't talk.
Right.
But the pundits. Okay, they could create something like everyone who's ever had a relationship with the next person with money in boxing has thought about, I'm going to be the next UFC. Okay? Well, you can't be the next UFC when there are 5 other major promoters. You can't be the next UFC when there are 4 ratings organizations, way too many weight classes, multiple champions per weight class. Not only like a champion, but an interim champion, what the fuck that means, a super champion, a gold champion. Everyone's got a belt. Well, when everyone has a belt, no one has a belt.
Right. So why will these guys be different? Why will they have success when the others didn't?
Because they're going to ignore the existing system.
Okay.
The system of ratings organizations needed to be torn down a long time ago. One of the reasons why I am not a bigger promotional company over the course of years is that I've never been best friends with those organizations. I've been critical of them since I was a television executive, right? How do you have not only 4 organizations, too many weight classes, multiple champions per weight class? How do your ratings completely differ almost? Mm-hmm. How are different people rated all over the place?
Yeah.
Most world champions of the major ratings organizations can walk down a street in Times Square and no one knows who they are.
Yeah.
They could walk down a street in Piccadilly Circus and no one knows who they are. That's a fact.
So what do you think they'll do? They'll get rid of the Ali Act and then say we're
but
going to have our own belt?
I think the Ali Act. I think the Ali Act will probably go. It's
Do they need to get rid of the Ali Act to like let this thing fly, or can they
I don't
do
know.
it with
I mean,
the
I
Ali
think they
Act still in
probably
place?
can. I mean, I think I don't know if they have to get rid of it. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good environment too. I think it makes it less.
But the Ali Act stops the promotion from having its own belt. So don't you have to get rid of it
that
first?
part of it has to be changed. But I believe that part of it should be changed. I don't
Or
think
can they
that's
get away
either.
with it with the ring
There
belt?
shouldn't be. There needs to be a prohibition on coercion, right? And no one should be forced to sign with anybody. And I think that there should still be some protection for that. But the idea, there's no reason in my mind that a promotion can't. Like, why are we protecting ratings organizations? Like, why? Like, I don't think the promotion, there should be any prohibition on a promotion giving out its own belts. Why not? Why? What's the problem?
Is there a chance that some of these guys who have been enemies, but over the past 2 years or so have been forced to work together, say, you know what?
Oh, they've been forced to work together? What did they really have to do, bro?
Well,
the biggest events have been, you think they had to really work hard promoting in Saudi Arabia, or did they just take big checks?
no,
for providing their
100%.
talent?
They were
Okay, so what did they really have to do?
they were
Now,
glorified
How are they
managers.
going to work together? Like they couldn't get television or keep quality television contracts. I mean, how many networks have you chased out of the business? Right? I mean, would a healthy boxing have celebrity boxing and Jake Paul boxing as big as it now is? Don't you think that sort of filled the void that we sort of created? Right? I mean, the environment in general, you can't fix boxing within the existing parameters. So when I hear Eddie do an interview and he says, I'm chill, but I take issue with boxing's broken, people care about all these belts.
Right.
Well, yeah, the fighters care about belts, but the fighters care about money more. And here's the reality. There's no middle class any longer. Most fighters are fighting below the poverty line. There are millions of fighters all around the world. Literally, when I say there are fighters everywhere, right? And a lot of them are inactive. A lot of them are fighting for free. A lot of them are fighting for money that you wouldn't even fathom how low it is. Fighters that are fighting in Africa and Asia, fighting for next to nothing. There is no middle class. Fighters are poor. The average working class, like lunch pail fighter, is poor, right? And then even when you look at it, some guys are getting super wealthy. 4 promotional companies have made a lot of money, right? But if you look at what happened 5 years ago, Aram came and had his new ESPN deal.
Yep.
That's over. Eddie came to America, opened giant offices, created Matchroom USA. He still has a deal with DAZN. He's still a good promoter. He still has some talent, but he didn't take anything over. And he basically went back and operated out of the UK. He didn't make it here in the way he thought it would. It wasn't transformative. And as soon as people got all these exclusive deals, what else happened? They didn't work with other people. They tried to create their own thing.
Right.
And it became even a greater impediment. How many times did you hear the old saying, the other side of the street, the other side of the street?
Yeah.
Fuck that other side of the street. You destroyed your own business. You didn't make the big fights because you were operating your own company. It was every man for himself. And we sort of deserve to be here. And I made money in the system also. I mean, to be honest, I was never big enough to change the system. I'll say this. There was a promoter summit 10, 15 years ago where everyone was in a room. And I prognosticated a lot of shit. I said HBO's not going to stay in. Showtime's not going to stay in. We're not going to be able to sustain the same kind of success we've had if we don't start working together. Honestly, working together to the point that we could create a television property with a promoters association, self-govern. Dana and Nick and Turkey will self-govern. You've already seen Turkey governing. It's been a little bit, of I'm governing.
Right.
But they're going to control their own thing.
Right.
That's a tremendous.
By the way, when you said this at the summit, did people push back? Did they say you're crazy?
No, it was funny. A lot of people got it. The people that pushed back were the ones who were then the most successful. Right? But if you look at promotion, look at a lot of the companies that were significant a decade ago, very few are left.
And so if it's so broken, if it's so in the dumps now, why are these smart men getting into this business?
Because you can recreate it. Why did they get into UFC?
Sure, but they bought it for $2 million, and they were buying 3 letters back in 2000.
But you don't have to buy anyone right now. That's the joy. You don't have to buy anyone. By the way, the ratings organizations were all over Turkey. He wrote checks to the BC and the WBA.
Yeah.
He created
They're having a Grand Prix
Grand Prix, whatever the tournament is.
Yeah.
But he had no intention of he had no intention of keeping them in place. I think Turkey understood, and by the way, I've been led to believe this by, I don't know the man. I haven't talked to him.
Have you ever met him?
No.
No.
Don't know the man. I know a lot of people that do. I know a lot of people that talk to him regularly. I know from those people that he made it clear that he never believed the existing system was tenable. He thought there were too many belts. He thought there were too many organizations. He thought, I think in the back of his head, he knew that he needed to tear it down to build it up again. That is what Dana has always said publicly, that the shit show that exists in boxing right now can't continue. He used to call major boxing events, what do you call them, fire sales or going out of business sales?
Right.
It's not wrong about that in the sense that we've always been people that basically made money grabs. There was never a strategy, a communal strategy to better the sport, to clean it up, get rid of bad decisions, remove judging from its connection to ratings organizations, stop paying ratings organizations to compete with one another, force them to create one organization so there's one champion per weight class. When you all have your little individual, though, exclusivity with a network, maybe you want as many belts as possible because everyone wants a belt. PBC wants belts, and Top Rank wants belts, and Matchroom wants belts, and Queensberry wants belts. And by the way, now that the four major promoters have something to worry about, and the ratings organizations have something to worry about, there'll be a little bit more cooperation. They're not going to all die overnight.
How long do you think it takes for them to really get a stranglehold on this?
5 years, maybe
5 years.
2 to 3 before they establish themselves as clearly the most major promoter. I think they already are, though, because Turkey is.
Yeah.
Turkey going into business with Dana and Nick, that's a lot of talent. You have, like I said earlier, you have one of the richest countries in the world supporting a business capitalized at $25 to $27 billion, depending on who you talk to. They've done it already. They've self-governed WWE and created a powerhouse. Yeah, there's AEW, there's other wrestling, but it's insignificant. You look at UFC. Yeah, there are other promotions. Right now, they're probably weaker than they've ever been. Now, UFC may have some issues with star power or whatever, but they'll deal with them. And right now, they're in such a dominant position. They have no worries. Their value keeps growing. Their product. I watched the show the other night, man. And
What'd you think?
I'm not. I was rooting for Pereira.
Oh, wow. What a difference from being on SportsCenter many years ago debating Joe Rogan to now ordering the pay-per-views.
That was fucking 15 years ago.
No, I know, but you've come a long way.
So was, maybe Joe Rogan has too. When I rewatched that thing, I don't know that he was totally right either. But
by the way, I actually rewatched it this morning just for shits and giggles. A lot of people in retrospect say, you got beat in the debate. But he said something that actually is very inaccurate now that no one brings up. And he says that all the stars of today are the last stars.
No.
And there are, obviously, we were just talking about some. Now, are they megastars? Are they on the level of the 70s stars? No. But new stars did come post Mayweather, De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, etc.
Yes, not many of them, though. And
Naoya Inoue is a gigantic star in Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah, but I'm saying Alexander Usyk is a massissive star. We can't just.
Well, no, is he a massive star?
Alexander Usyk?
Yeah.
In Europe, I think so.
I know.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think he's great. I think he's pound for pound great. Is he a massive star? I think you've never had. A star? I don't think you've ever had
Ryan Garcia star.
A heavyweight championship. Yeah, partially because of social media, though.
You can't put those types
No, it's a different world, though, because what makes you a mess. So Jake Paul might be the biggest. I don't consider him a real fighter, but Jake Paul might be the biggest star in boxing. Because he sucks.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that he could be a bad fighter, but he can still be a fighter.
Okay, he's a fighter. And you know what? In fairness, by the way, I don't want to be unfair. He works his ass off. I've seen him get better.
He steps through the ropes.
I probably, in the course of my career, have promoted people that are no better than him.
Right.
There are people that are professional right now that he could stand up with. So it's probably unfair for me to say he's not a fighter. He's not the talent of a superstar fighter. He's a superstar fighter because he's a celebrity.
Sure.
He is still more of a celebrity fighter than a traditional boxer. Dude, he fought a 58-year-old fucking man and 100%. They called it a real fight. They called it a real fight. That's another problem. Think about our sport. You think Dana White would ever promote something where a 58-year-old man who is admittedly does a lot of drugs and just had a bleeding ulcer fought a 27-year-old guy fighting full-time boxer or MMA guy You think he would ever do that? Because I don't think so.
Not in 2025 when he's in the position that he's in now. But is it worth at least noting that Netflix, the biggest platform on the planet, they were interested.
Yeah, but Netflix. I mean, yeah, but
they were interested in.
Well, they're supposed to be.
So is that the knock on boxing, or is that the knock on the times that we're living in? And is there something to be said?
No, it's a knock on the times we're living in.
Is there something to be said for what happened to Serrano and Taylor as a result of being on that card? Because now look what they're getting. They're getting their own platform on July 11th.
Okay, let's see like if the big money for women's boxing survives, and I hope it does. I absolutely look. I lost fighters to Jake Paul. He's still trying to steal my fighters right now that are female. You know what? I can't do anything for them like he can. I mean, with all due respect, Netflix isn't walking around looking for women fighters. It's Serrano Taylor was underneath Tyson. It was people that saw that fight saw it because
100%.
no one turned in to watch Taylor and Serrano. People turned in to watch Tyson and whatever. Now
for sure, but
everyone
there's a trickle-down
saw it.
effect. Yeah.
I don't begrudge them, the girls, $1. I'm glad they're getting paid. Honestly, I think that Jake has a niche now because he has his own niche as a celebrity fighter. And while everybody else is trying to figure out what to do in the men's boxing game, he's out there trying to accumulate women and create a female promotion.
Smart play?
I think so. I mean, I couldn't do it, but he can. Smart play. You know, I think so. I've always believed that women's boxing could be bundled up and create opportunity. Right now, there are female world champions making 10 and 15 grand.
Right.
Jake hasn't changed that. Now, maybe if he gets a big series or something, maybe he can. I can't walk into Netflix and get a women's series. Jake Paul can.
Do you think that the TKO group will create their own belt, or do you think they'll just use the ring belt?
I mean,
And does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. It matters because people like trinkets, right? First of all, the ring belt only works in a unification situation. What the ring belt traditionally has been is the person in the weight class. So, and that's one of the key things about the fact that you and I know, and it's a big, worst kept secret in boxing, that there already is a Netflix deal with TKO and with Turkey. It's going to be announced shortly. Canelo and Crawford will be the first TKO promoted mega event. Brilliant, because you need the biggest events. And then you need the development. You need to rise up with the new stars, which they will do because they will wind up with ESPN. Look at the track record of WWE entertainment properties. Look at the track record of UFC as a media property. And then look at the track record of boxing. Dude, it's fucking nuts. It's not even.
So just last night, one of the brightest young stars in boxing is a young man named Abdullah Mason. He fights for Top Rank.
No, but does it matter?
No. Here's what I'm saying. Turkey just out of the blue tweeted about it.
And that's good for Abdullah Mason. Mason.
It's tremendous. But
Abdullah
do you think there's going to be a purge now? Like everyone is available. We are and there's nothing. Top Rank, Matchroom, Queensberry, De La Hoya. There's Boxer. You can't do nothing about this.
It's going to be very hard for people that got enriched to the degree they've been enriched by Turkey to go after Turkey for talking about or directly to their fighters. So you're not going to see people, or like people aren't going to be
De La Hoya pushed back a little bit yesterday. He said he was offended.
Dude, that interview, come on, man. I'm hurt. What the fuck are you hurt about, bro? Like, what are you hurt about? Hurt? What the fuck? I mean, I couldn't even fathom that interview.
By the way, 8 months ago, De La Hoya was criticizing Turkey.
I have friends at his company. I don't talk. Oscar blocked me a long time ago.
Why?
I don't know. We were like, honestly, Oscar and I were always cool. I don't know. I said something he didn't like. He blocked me.
Okay.
But I said to people at his company, and I said to people at Matchroom, I said to all my other, I know everyone. I said, and I didn't mean this in a negative way or disrespectfully toward Turkey, but I said, you let the wolf into the hen house. He's not doing this to enrich you. He's enriching you to get in to the top talent. That top talent is now His Excellency, His Excellency, His Excellency. Personally, I don't call anyone His Excellency other than Jesus Christ. If he returns to earth, I'll use the term His Excellency. Otherwise, I'm not holding a man's hand or calling him His Excellency. Right? I have respect for the man, though. He cares about the sport, has a plan, has shown quality control, has created programming over the last couple of years that never would have happened without him. Right? He hasn't done bad things for boxing. By the way, you know this. As much as I don't like Nikisa Badarian, he probably doesn't like me. I'm not a big fan of Jake's. I don't think Jake did anything negative to the sport of boxing. I don't think like all the arguments that Jake Paul's doing this stuff brings good attention to boxing and boxing rises up because of it. That's equally horseshit. However, no one can blame Jake Paul for the state of boxing. Jake Paul hasn't done anything wrong to boxing. If anything, Amanda Serrano should be very grateful to him, and Katie Taylor's made more money than she ever made, and he hasn't hurt anyone. I mean, the fact that he has the niche he has is more of a reflection of the total shit show nature of the industry. And I think you were getting there earlier when you asked another question. No, he didn't do anything inappropriate or wrong. He took advantage of an industry that needed stars because very few people were transcending anything. There were very few people that could have fought 58-year-old Mike Tyson and done a world of eyeballs the way that did. That's a tribute to Jake's star power. Jake's star power is undeniable. You want to sit there and say, I don't like the guy. I don't love this kind of boxing. I don't like the influencer stuff. That's fine. But one, don't say he hurt boxing. He didn't. And also, you can't deny his innate popularity and his star power.
So what do you think happens? Like Crawford and Canelo, they're not tied to anyone right now. So
and that makes it very easy.
That's the perfect one.
Well,
but then what happens in a year from now? Do you think he's not working with Eddie, not working with Frank, not working with...
dude, he'll work with them to the extent he needs to or wants to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure Tyson Fury is contracted to anybody right now. I'm not sure what his contractual situation is. But if he is contracted to Frank Warren in Queensberry, they'll get paid, right? I think Eddie does have some kind of deal with AJ.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they'll begrudge him his logo in the corner of a poster. And I don't think they'll rip him off of what he's entitled to economically. Do I think that Turkey is going to ask Eddie's permission to talk to AJ? Probably not.
Right.
I don't think he's asked anyone's permission. And frankly, every fighter on earth wants to talk to him. And like I said, when he appeared on Turkey's Twitter feed, and Abdullah Mason got a little bit of pump from Turkey yesterday, Abdullah Mason probably went to sleep last night feeling pretty damn good.
Yeah, no. But that's the thing.
And by the way,
of the world are like, okay, so is this it? Is Keyshawn next?
Look, they didn't lose their ESPN deal because of Turkey. They didn't lose their ESPN deal because of Dana or Nick.
Why did they?
That. Just because of the marginalization of boxing. Traditional boxing is not pop culture the way it was when I was running HBO Sports.
Yeah.
The world has changed.
Yeah. Can it ever get back to that?
Not with the present structure. Maybe, and that's why, dude, I'm not hating on what Nick and
no, do you think that...
I think that Nick and Dana, and with Turkey's money and Saudi money, and I think it's also interesting, by the way, Shapiro, the people that they work for, said, we don't necessarily believe in boxing. We got our doubts about boxing, but with the Saudi money and no economic risk to our company, we'll try to build it with them. We'll run it. I think they picked good people to run it.
Yeah.
I think they picked the right people to build it with. People who know how to create. See, the only reason people are saying league is because promotion means something different in boxing. Right?
Yeah.
But what it really is a promotion.
Right.
But it's a self-contained business, the way UFC is, the way WWE is. That is their best chance to create something transformative for boxing.
Do you think they'll be successful?
I think they can be.
Yeah.
I think that, you got to be careful. There are people that know more about how to make matches in boxing in the trenches than they do. I hope that they use some of those people.
Yeah, they have to hire boxing people, right?
Well,
they're not going to sit there and matchmake.
I think that their intention is probably stay away from a lot of traditional boxing.
They're going to hire matchmakers and whatnot. They're not going to sit there.
But they're going to learn really interestingly what matchmakers are in boxing. They're a very weird, interesting crew. And they're all sorts of independent booking agents. The whole system of matchmaking is weird. They're going to be shocked what they encounter. It's not so easy. You can't just go out there and say, I'm hiring this guy. There are not very few real.
Do you like the idea? They say that they're gonna whittle down the weight classes, focus on the original 8 or so, one champion, all this. Do you like this?
I think there are too many weight classes, but I don't know.
What are there, like 17 now?
Yeah, but I got to tell you, when you're really small, 8 pounds means a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure about the original 8, but I would definitely whittle them down.
Okay.
I think 17's too many.
And they'll just say,
I think the reality is
buzz off WBC. They're just going to ignore all of them. We're doing it by ourselves.
And that's the right move.
Yeah. And what do you think happens to those guys in 10 years? What happens to Mauricio Suleiman?
Mauricio will be, WBC is not going to be extinguished.
They're not?
Mauricio's resourceful, has a lot of relationships. Around the world, in certain countries right now where boxing operates in a small little bubble where it's not big, Italy, a lot of other places, they're still going to want the belts. They're still going to pay the sanctioning fees.
Okay.
I think there'll be fewer employees. There'll be less lavish conventions. They're going to have to pay themselves less. They're going to be less significant. But, well, here's the other thing. How does Eddie survive without belts? How does Aram survive without belts?
Do you think then Eddie makes his own belt? Why can't
No.
Why?
No, because Eddie he told you what he was going to do. Listen to the interview. He just said boxing's not broken.
Right.
People want these belts. He's talking about the BC, the IBF, the WBA, the WBO. I've wanted to put those look, I got friends at those places.
Right.
I think there are some very good. Mauricio Suleiman loves boxing. His father loved boxing. I fought cats and dogs with his father, but I loved him. But his father knew that if I could create one organization and get rid of 3 of them, I would have done it.
Did you ever try?
Yeah, I sat in a room with every promoter in the business.
Right, but you yourself, like
Dude, there's no way of trying. I was never that.
when HBO was at its peak.
Oh
and you were there.
Yes. I mean, there were times we didn't promote the belts, we didn't put them up or whatever. I didn't like them. I mean, I tried. There were times that I got hit with a mandatory. I stood on the stage and motherfucked the organization as an HBO exec, saying, "I'm buying this because I fucking have to."
Right.
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 I mean, there was. So I mean that. I have mixed feelings about the organizations. I have a lot of friends at the IBF. I think there's some very good people that care about boxing. I think the guy that runs the WBO, Olivieri, is a good guy. I think that the IBF, once they collapsed because of the legal problems they had, they were put into federal receivership, and they had to clean up their act. I think they have operated by their rules more than any organization has.
Yeah. But they screw things up. That's why I'm actually okay.
You can't have.
We have undisputed title fight and say, oh, we need this belt.
How do you have 4 belts in one weight?
Yeah.
Man? And particularly in a sport that's no longer particularly mainstream. I mean, you know this. We are a niche sport.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but we've had that going on for years. And by the way, the only time it ever served anyone was when the exclusive deals were, Eddie had his exclusive deal at DAZN, PBC had their deals, Aram had ESPN. Well, then the more belts, the merrier, because everyone gets a belt.
Right.
But the reality is, your champions are no longer water cooler conversation topics, right? No one's getting up and close to them because they don't know who the hell they are.
Right.
I believe that Dana and Nick and Turkey have a terrific chance here to create a reinvigorated industry and create a sport that's far more mainstream, but not correct. They're correct when they say not by working within the existing system, by tearing it down.
Right.
There are quotes from me, and I went over and just Googled. I mean, you can find quotes from me 20 years ago saying the sport needed an enema.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said for a long time, you know, when people are saying why all the bad decisions, because I'm always pissed off by the decisions. If you go on my Twitter account over the years, I mean, I go crazy because I understand why they're happening. Look at how sanctioning fees are set. Look, the organizations make the most money from the biggest star. So if the biggest star is being taxed, in effect, a few percentage points, you want that guy to keep winning because he's delivering the biggest check.
Do you think that's what happened with Tank Davis in New York?
Yeah, to some degree. You know, I don't think Steve Willis is a bad guy. I don't think there was corruption there. I think he royally fucked up.
Yeah.
But he knew who Gervonta Davis was.
But they could have overturned it, and they didn't.
They didn't.
Not piss him off.
There might have been a lot.
That's the
by
easiest
the way,
overturning of all time.
I can't point to one instance where the New York Commission's ever overturned.
No commission ever overturned.
Well, they don't.
Especially against the superstar.
They don't do it. They're afraid.
Right.
They don't do it.
Right.
By the way, the whole system of state athletic commissions right now is completely
You think that's going to go away too?
No, but I think that, frankly, I don't think they micromanage UFC from a state commission level the way they more micromanage boxing, because boxing's been a shit show. Boxing's been a free-for-all. I mean, you know, you heard Andy Foster say, hey, I think Dana getting into this is good. I think UFC, TKO getting into this is good. Those people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think that feeling exists a lot of places. They know what they're doing. You know?
Now, let me ask you about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. That's journalism, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
ready for this one.
You call Turkey the best promoter, the most successful promoter of the last couple of years. And I'm not knocking these guys.
Caveat: he didn't have to work. He didn't care about making or losing money.
Yes,
but in terms of creating the biggest fights,
yes,
100%,
100%. And so, any outlet that is owned by a promoter, from a journalistic standpoint, is problematic. There's a conflict of interest there. And so, how do you feel about the top journalists now all working for this one outlet, The Ring?
And I think that most of the journalists out there suck. I think there's a complete lack of talent. I think I respect you. You work for other guys. You work for people in the industry too. I respect a lot of other guys who work for people in the industry. I think everyone has to feed their families and get paid. But the nature boxing journalism right now is sort of a joke because there's nothing independent about it. And everybody who, like the guys who I consider the best and the brightest among them, are all co-opted to a degree. You know, I mean, Coppinger's at ESPN, but I could see Coppinger going to work for these guys at some point. You know, the Ring magazine, you know, it was owned by Oscar. So Turkey bought it. It was bought by one promoter from another, right? So it's not like Turkey bastardized Ring magazine. It was already owned by Oscar.
But there were like 2 people working for it when Oscar
But you see it already.
Now it's become the source.
It's a source, and it's also a little bit of a propaganda situation, right? But it's a marketing situation. I'm not going to flip out over it.
Right.
But I don't think there's independent journalism in boxing any longer, really. I mean, almost everybody, like, you know, Maddox was writing for, but he was working for DAZN, and
that's okay if you're working for the network, not the promoter.
Yes and no, but in the old, it wasn't the way it was when I started the business. It wasn't that way in the 90s.
Howard Cosell worked for ABC. He told it like it is.
Yeah, but he only worked for ABC.
No, but the point is, if you work for the network, I think that's okay. If you're working for the promoter, then it's a conflict, especially when you're working for a network that works with multiple promoters.
Exclusive with the promoter. It's
no, but they've got an exclusive with like 6 promoters at this point. So what are you going to be biased to the? I mean,
by the way, Turkey owns 10% of the zone.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from everything I'm hearing and being led to believe, Canelo and Crawford, the biggest fight of 2025. Ain't going to be on the zone.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you would think that there are rectums rotating at the zone. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong? No, seriously. What are they? The industry. What sport is their locomotive? I mean, in certain territories,
sure.
big soccer deal, soccer league deal.
Yeah. They have League One in France.
Right. They have places where. Okay, but what has been their like common?
Yeah, boxing.
Okay. Well,
is there a world where, you know, Mark Shapiro mentioned 4 mega events on Netflix. Yeah. There's got to be more events.
Okay, so I mean,
so the rest go there.
Turkey owns part of the zone. Some will go on the zone. You're not building a star on the zone. Name me one star that's been built on the zone.
I mean, the vast majority of.
Name me a star that's built on zone.
AJ's run. I know a little bit on Sky.
No.
Well, what?
Name me a star that was built on the zone.
I mean,
he was a star before he ever went near the
Ryan
zone.
Garcia.
No.
What?
No.
Why not?
Because he wasn't.
Is it a star or wasn't built on DAZN?
Wasn't built on DAZN.
Last few years, he's been on DAZN. And
he's been on pay-per-view.
No, I don't know about that.
I mean, he's had some.
Maybe DAZN
he wasn't
pay-per-view.
built on DAZN. When you have, how many millions of internet followers does he have? Honestly.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? I mean.
DAZN hasn't built a star.
Okay.
And I'll give you a clear example. Okay? I'll give you a clear example. Boots Ennis is one of the best fighters in the world.
Sure.
No one knows who the fuck he is.
Yeah, but he's had 2 fights on DAZN. He was on Showtime all this time.
You're not building a star on a streaming service that has virtually
no... that's not a fair example.
You're not building a star on a streaming service. See, this is why... I'm sorry, you can't... This is why a free press would be necessary.
What do you mean?
Because people who work for networks, these kind of conversations I have all the time. You can't argue with me that you could really build a star on DAZN. You can't build a superstar on DAZN when DAZN's penetration in North America is what it is, which is negligible.
But what about the rest of the world?
Okay, in the rest of the world, how many people you still think subscribe to DAZN worldwide? They just had go look at their last annual report.
Let me ask you this. Did Showtime build any stars?
Yeah.
Worldwide, there's more people who have DAZN than had Showtime in America.
Okay, but they built stars. It was a combination, bro. Pay-per-view,
right?
Linear. This is also Dana and Nick, WWE, UFC.
They are the best.
Understand the power of linear.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that you need not only multiple platforms, you need multiple types of platforms, right? You need competitive, quote-unquote, free fights. You need eyeballs on ESPN.
But you know, outside of America, they're no longer on linear anymore, WWE.
No, I get it.
The whole thing is on Netflix.
Well, look, the whole world's changing.
Sure.
And I'm just making a point.
So why can't DAZN change for those times?
Like, with all due respect, what's the big changes at DAZN? They lost $500 million less last year? Why did they lose? No, you're laughing, but come on. Why did they lose $500 million less? You want to know why? It's self-evident. They lost $500 million less because Turkey was a really good partner.
Sure, 100%.
And Turkey wasn't getting guaranteed deals from DAZN. Turkey was revenue splits. So all of a sudden, DAZN had these mega events that they couldn't make on their own, by the way, that Turkey made, and then DAZN had access to them without having to make a gigantic guarantee. Turkey's been pretty good to DAZN, right? But Turkey also has a tremendous amount of power there now, and he owns 10% of the company. And I think I heard Turkey say something about Dana going to crush everybody. Did he say that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's the goal, 100%.
Right,
He also
well,
said, I'm passing
it ain't gonna get hard.
I'm passing the baton over to them. They're going to take it over.
He never intended it long term. I give the guy credit. I don't think he ever intended long term to give the baton to the guys he made the deals with. Now, maybe there's a slight chance he had some thought of that, and then he saw how it operates and saw what they really brought to the table, and maybe he changed his mind. I tend to think he never really had that intent. I think in the back of his head, he always thought that Nick, Dana, TKO were an inevitable partner. I don't know. I don't know.
Can I ask you this question? Knowing what you know of them, these are three, and if we want
egos, big egos, big personalities.
Yes. Do you think they can coexist?
I don't know. I mean, I think they're also very, don't take anything away from them. Dana's got a gigantic ego, but Dana's also a smart guy. Dana also, they're a publicly traded company. They like money.
Yeah.
They like succeeding. They win. Honestly, they're getting a benefit of a no-risk deal.
Right.
I mean, if you listen to what Shapiro said, right? That's a pretty wonderful situation. Have an opportunity to create something that's as powerful as UFC, as powerful as, and they can. What they're going to do in boxing, if done correctly, and if they get the traction they need, and they could all coexist, and it can be every bit the brand UFC is and WWE are. Because boxing is ripe for a takeover.
Right.
Look, every time a Triller came in, someone came in,
Yep.
the powers in boxing, everyone ran to take their money. Everybody was willing to take the money. And, this is why, imagine being Eddie. 4 weeks ago, you give a fucking interview. Most honest interview, by the way, I ever saw Eddie give on social media. And look, I got a little bit of a love-hate with Eddie, but I don't hate Eddie. I know Eddie since he's a kid. And he's a talented guy, man. Eddie's got that P.T. Barnum. I keep saying P.T. Barnum.
Yeah, gift of gab.
But he's that circus, Barker. I mean, he'll be the first to tell you, I ain't the smartest guy, but I got the gift of gab. I'm a great bullshitter. And he is. He's a tremendous force of nature. For Eddie to say about a month ago, and I'm almost the exact words, saying, no one really wants to say it or admit it, but we all work for Turkey. And frankly, if he asked me to shine his shoes, I would shine them. Problem is, inevitably and in the end, he didn't want a shoe shine boy. He didn't need his sandals shined. He needed someone, a partner, to execute his vision of completely changing the system. One champion, the best fight the best, right? One quote-unquote league. I think league is a language barrier thing. I don't really think they mean league. I think they mean self-contained promotion. Right?
Do you think he looked at any of those guys to do it with, or was the plan always
I don't know well enough to answer, but look, obviously the announcements of the last week or two, they don't come based upon 3 or 4 conversations.
Sure.
He's been talking to Nick, particularly Nick, more of a deal maker on that level than Dana, I think. I think he's probably been talking to Nick for a long time. I don't know that.
Yeah, they've been in business with WWE for the last few years
All
as
right,
well.
so it would suggest to you that these conversations have occurred over a course of time.
Yeah.
I think he had an idea what he was doing. Look, I know people that signed NDAs with him and went into press guys. I think you know them too. I don't know if you ever were in a meeting with the other press guys in Turkey, but I think he actually told people that he thought the structure needed to be torn down. Writers. They couldn't write it. He did it on an off-the-record basis. But I think he's been talking.
Why'd they do that?
What?
It was just an off-the-record chat? And they signed NDAs?
No, I think he had an off-the-record meeting.
Really?
What I was led to believe is that there were a few off-the-record meetings.
I didn't get the invite.
I don't know. Well, I mean,
Maybe I didn't make it.
And they might have taken place in Saudi. I don't know.
Sure.
But there were some off-the-record meetings where he suggested that he believed it needed to be torn down. Hey, dude, I got to admit it. Like, Mauricio is a friend of mine, and he's mad at me now. I mean, he was mad at me for another thing too, because I went after him for something else on social media recently. None of the organizations are in love with me because I've been shitting on them for 25 years.
Does this make you sad or hopeful for the future of boxing?
I mean,
you still
I
love
was
the
sad
sport.
I love the sport.
Yeah, you do.
I love it. I was sad when HBO came out of it. Got out of it. It was a dark day for me.
Yeah.
I think we did this to ourselves. I think that we have no one to blame but ourselves. We were every man for himself. I can't sit here. I think I tried to be more of a voice of conscience a little bit than some people did. I think I stayed small because it allowed me not to change some of the ways I wanted to do business. I never was the dominant guy. I've always lurked around the top 5 or 6 in the country for most of the 25 years I was a promoter. But I never really thought of myself as blowing up. I never took offense.
Did you try to get one of those big deals,
I don't know. The interesting part was, no, I tried to talk to people.
DAZN, did you try?
Yeah, I gave them whole business plans about women's boxing, all sorts of things, but I didn't want to go there. I think the people that ran DAZN.
Like, would you?
Yeah, I did. I tried there.
Right now, Dimitri Salita has a promotion that reminds me a little bit of yours. Is that a fair based on?
No, because I think I'm also more understood my role. When I got out of HBO, here's another reason the whole system has to change, by the way. Promoters are no longer the money. When the State Athletic Commission rules were written, promoters were the money. When promoters are no longer the money, pay-per-view is the money, Turkey is the money, streaming services are the money, right? None of those players, for the most part, the streaming services and networks, after I left HBO, there was no quality control inherent in any of the platforms. And we never exercised our own. And when people got exclusive deals like Aram got and Eddie got, I was against exclusive deals. I never really sought one because I thought they were wrong. And I publicly have gone after them forever. And one of the reasons why boxing's in the state it's in right now, one of the reasons why I do think that Dana and Nick and Turkey have a terrific opportunity here is that we didn't exercise quality control. We weakened our own product. PBC wanted to make their fights within PBC world. Eddie, Matchroom was doing its own thing. They didn't want to enrich other people. You kept hearing about crossing the street. And all these exclusive deals were happening. It wasn't making for better product. It was making for worse product. I'm shocked no one ever came to me and said, Lou, you were the best television matchmaker programmer ever in boxing. Probably true to this day, honestly. And I'm proud of that. Probably got me into the Hall of Fame. Wasn't by being the 4th or 5th biggest promoter or 6th in the United States. It was more, I think it was a combination of what I did at HBO and what I did later. I don't think exclusivity is good where you have a broken... Boxing has been too every man for itself to do an exclusive deal with one promoter. Right now, in the weak state it's in, these guys come in, they're going to be the dominant promoter. And it creates a whole different thing. And then shedding those belts, no 7 champions per weight class, no 18 weight classes. I think by the way, that they should look carefully at the original weight classes and maybe come out somewhere in between, because otherwise they're going to deprive themselves of some great fighters making great fights. Because
how many events would you suggest they do?
I don't know.
On
I don't have any suggestion. And by the way, I think that's going to be dictated to some degree by the success they have.
Yeah.
How many platforms open the doors for them, right?
I think they're going to be...
I don't think they're going to put... I think there'll always be other boxing. I don't know.
They're going to be very successful because they're going to get the ESPN deal. They're going to be on Netflix. No one has better relationships with the media companies than Nick. Dana's a lifer in this business. He's cutthroat. He's ruthless, but he gets.
It's going to be much harder for.
And then you got the pockets. It's like the greatest trio for this type of takeover possible, right?
It was.
Who's
obvious.
more nervous right now? Those promoters or the ratings? Who's more nervous? Who's going to be extinct quicker? Probably
I think they're all going to be different than they are right now. I think, look, first of all, Aram's 94 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, unless he's Methuselah, right? His run is limited in time. And I love Bob. I mean, it's funny because I almost killed him. It's in the HBO, the book that was written about HBO. How at one point I jumped over a couch and had to be pulled off of him. But I mean, he's 94 years old. He's a survivor. I mean, But
he's got Todd waiting in the wings.
And it's going to be harder for Todd. Todd doesn't have the gravitas. Todd doesn't have the relationships. Todd doesn't have the relationships with the fighters. Todd took a hit with that lawsuit. It's going to be harder. I mean, Top Rank, in terms of organizationally, is the best organization. You could argue who you believe is the best promoter. I mean, I see why you said Eddie. Eddie's bombastic, that kind of judgment. I mean, Eddie's talented.
What do you think of all the like Times Square, all this stuff, but no tickets sold?
I mean, it's a fucking look. Turkey can afford to do what the fuck he wants. I
Yeah.
think it's cool. I mean, Alcatraz, on one level, who gives a shit? On the other level, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, and if Turkey wants to do it, he can afford it. He can afford it. Right? I mean, it ain't hurting anything.
Right.
Like, it gives cachet. I think the Times Square thing's sort of cool.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if he was thinking profit margin and really worried about the P&L, it wouldn't be a Times Square.
Sure.
Or it wouldn't be an Alcatraz.
Do you have any idea what that would cost them to rent out Times Square?
Well, they don't rent out all of Times Square.
No, but even a portion of it.
It's expensive, bro. I mean,
Yeah,
security's expensive. You got to pay the police department. I mean,
Right.
the police presence.
Can't even fathom
It's
because they
expensive.
reference New Year's Eve, but that's the city shutting it
It's
down.
not like New Year's.
No, it's totally.
But you're not going to have 10,000 or 100,000
Right.
people watching it. Well, maybe they're not closing down the whole
Sure.
Times Square so people can gather and watch the big screens. Now, we rented all the big screens, but my understanding is it's under 1,000 people
Yeah,
that can be in that bubble.
but still,
It's
Astronomical.
phenomenally expensive. No one else would do it.
right.
Dude, you understand how little reinvestment there was in boxing? First of all, I couldn't do the reinvestment. I had a small company. I never had more than 6 employees.
Wow.
Okay, I never had a giant company. I never got offended when Richard Schaefer or Heyman would call me mom pop. For a period of time, I had a great relationship with Heyman. I promoted almost every event at Barclays Center for those early years of
Yeah.
PBC. In a weird way, I think the success I had building the Brooklyn market maybe was one of the reasons Al and I fell out, because Al didn't want a promoter to have that association with anything. I still respect Al. He's like, we don't talk really the way we did. We were friends for 19 years, but I got nothing but love for him. I actually think also he's a really resourceful, smart guy. He won't be put out of business by this, but everyone's got more issues and problems. How do you build the star now? Like, how do you embrace the existing system which failed? Like, when Eddie gave that interview and he said, "I'm chill because I'm comfortable in my own business," I believe he is. I mean, if you couldn't do what Eddie and I did, what Aram did, what Frank Warren did, what Oscar did without a big ego. Comes with the territory. Does Dana have an immense ego? Yeah, Dana's also one of the best promoters on the planet, right? Now, it may be interesting to see how his ego drives long-term with Turkey's ego, because they both appear to have gigantic egos, but they also both have a gigantic opportunity, and they're both really smart guys. I tend to think they'll figure it out.
Let me ask you, why did you choose minor league baseball? When you said that you were
Because
slowly...
baseball's always been my favorite sport.
Okay.
I mean, when I left HBO and I left HBO, I got a settlement when I left. I told the chairman of Time Warner to go fuck himself.
Jeez, what year is this?
Meeting. That was 2000 roughly.
Okay.
We had a falling out. I mean, I to be quite frank, I thought that I was in line to get a job, a big job, and no one told me it wasn't happening until I walked into a meeting and I was sort of blindsided.
Okay.
And then I didn't really want to be, even back then, I didn't want to be Mr. Boxing alone.
Right.
I loved the sports world. I love baseball. I wanted to do other things. And I really wanted that portfolio to be head of president of HBO Sports. And it started to become clear to me that probably was unlikely. And at that point, I wasn't, I probably caused my own exit, but I left, and I left with some money. Immediately, I bought into minor league baseball.
Wow.
Immediately.
Wow.
I bought a piece of a team in Altoona, Pennsylvania, that my friend who later bought the Texas Rangers owned that team in Altoona. And I learned how to run a minor league team by watching what he was doing. And then I bought a team in Connecticut, struggled mightily, moved to Richmond, and became one of the most successful teams in minor league baseball.
The team moved.
Yeah.
And why Richmond?
Yeah, we moved to Richmond. Why Richmond? Great market.
Okay.
One of the biggest minor league markets. Baseball crazy town. Had the Braves for years and years.
Yeah.
Lost baseball, got it back. And then I hired the best management people in minor league baseball. Guys that understood that a minor league baseball game needs to be like a carnival.
Right.
Right? And, we went from last in the AA in attendance in our league to first. And
Building a new stadium.
building a $120 million stadium.
Wow.
Got a lot of money from a bond issue in Richmond to do that.
There it is. Look at that. Carmax Park.
Max Park. And you see the work
Under construction.
under construction right now.
And the second team is where?
In Montgomery, Alabama.
Yes.
The Montgomery Biscuits, the Tampa Rays AA team. So I run two pretty big businesses. And the team in Richmond, a particularly big business, because it's really one of the flagship minor league teams.
Do you think in 5 years, no more boxing? DiBella Entertainment done?
man, I have a love for it. I would do commentary possibly. I did it for a
commentary.
year. I did it for a while I was a
It
promoter.
would be fantastic.
I think it was pretty good.
Probably hard to get a word in edgewise with the other crew.
No,
you know?
I mean, I did. I was actually.
But I'm talking about like the promotional company, because you still have like what 20 fighters.
Yeah, I still do, and the fighters I have, I think they're probably better off with me than being free, because I feel an obligation to all of them. I don't breach my contracts. I keep my fighters fighting. I'll do a couple of shows a year to fulfill an obligation that someone has to fight X number of times, but I'm not going to be a promoter in the same way. For the most part, the days of promoting shows, like individual promoters doing it, are sort of coming to an end. And that's sort of why I was making the point about Eddie and Bob and Warren and Oscar now being exactly what they used to criticize me for. Like when they got their exclusive deal and I couldn't get directly to a network, even when I had the talent, and that pissed me off, I'd have to go through them. And then they would actually have the nerve to take shots that I was a middleman. Me, who was running more local shows, putting my money where my mouth was, not making money doing Broadway boxing, 144 shows in New York City, dominant promotion in New York City for 20 years, right? But they were downing me for being a middleman. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? That's what you are now. That's what you are now. And they have a chance, too. Every time there's a dominant promotion, someone is back there trying to claw their way up. Maybe they all work together better. Maybe they make changes to the organizations. Maybe they convince the organizations to merge. Maybe they create something that's a resistance to what's going to be done with the league, quote unquote, or the Netflix deal. I don't think that in the long run, Dana and Nick or Turkey care about coexisting with them. I think those guys want to build their own thing. If their own thing is successful enough, organically, they will be the dominant powerhouse in a near, not a legal, they're not going to be, I don't think that UFC is an illegal monopoly, right? I don't think they're breaking law, but they're sort of they're a monopoly from economic power. That's probably the aim in boxing too, to become dominant enough that you're a de facto monopoly, not a legal monopoly, a de facto monopoly. It's going to take some time. Nothing's going to be torn down overnight, but there is zero chance that if these guys are dedicated to this effort, and one person, like for example, if something happened to Turkey, is the partnership still there? Is the economic backing of Saudi still there? And by the way, by that time, does it matter? Because if it's not, and they've created the dominant promotion, why won't Nick and Dana just run with it? So I'm not. I think that none of the major 4 promotional companies now that have deals with the zone will be what they are now in 5 years. None of the ratings organizations will be what they are now in 5 years. Probably the top promoters won't be what they are now in 3 years. Will they go away? Only if they want to. Look, I managed to survive, right, with no platform for a decade. And if I lost money that decade, it would have been out long ago, right? I don't think that they are going to. I think Eddie is too talented to be chased out totally if he wants to find a niche. But Eddie's not a niche guy, man. Eddie's a big guy, like a big picture guy. If Eddie thinks like, fuck, man, I can't beat these guys, I can't compete with these guys, his family are billionaires. His family was rich as fuck before Eddie ever got into this shit. He walked into his company. Do I expect Eddie to scrape and to struggle in 5 or 6 years, 10 years to be relevant? No. I think he'll retire and do something else. I mean, by the way, Matchroom has a whole portfolio of other sports, and Eddie's enough of a celebrity in the UK to do some television shit or whatever he wants to do. Do I think Top Rank has got issues? Top Rank's got a 94-year-old chairman, right? But Todd's not a dumb guy. They have really good people working there for them. Do I think they'll go out of business? I think they'll figure it out for a while. It's going to take a while.
Sure.
Right? And then when it all settles out and TKO, that whatever that promotion is, has all their TV and streaming deals, there will be another streaming service or another competing sports service or someone else that may want boxing property.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to be the way it is right now. Right? And certainly, you asked me if I'm going to stay in boxing. I'm going to stay in boxing I'm going to accept the changes that are coming. And I think I have a tremendous amount of knowledge of this industry. I think I have a tremendous eye for talent. I think I can help a fighter in the right situation, but much more likely to do so going forward as an advisor than as a promoter. I'm not, the days of me doing a monthly series or promoting 20 shows a year, they're done.
Fascinating. We'll leave it at that. Thank you, Lou. Appreciate you coming in. Love your insight. Love that you
I think that from a fan standpoint, look, you got more big. I mean, if you're not worried about it, if you're a fan, and I want to watch
business.
Boxing, Turkey made sure you got some good stuff the last couple of years. I don't think that's going to disappear. And by the way, I think if he wants a particular fight and a guy's contracted to one of the other 4 guys, he'll pay the other 4 guys and make the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of spite here. I think it's going to be organically that the winds of change tear down the structure. The old paradigm of boxing has been for decades broken, and it's going to come down. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. And I'm open-minded as to what's coming. And I certainly have a lot of respect for the ability of Nick and Dana to run a business. They've already shown they can do it. And I think Turkey has shown me that he gets it. And what I mean by gets it is he gets the fact that to build it up, you must tear it down, right? And that's what's coming. And I don't think that's a bad thing. 4 ratings organizations, never tenable. 7 champions in a particular weight class, world champions between interim and regular and this and that, untenable, right? You're never going to build a superstar that way, the right way. I mean, you build some superstars, but a lot of boxing champions have functioned in obscurity. And I think it's for a fan, it's going to be really interesting times for fans, and it's going to be a really interesting time for guys like you that are covering this shit.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
And for me, look, I'm there's another thing. I'm not 44 anymore, right? I'm 60 plus. If I was 40 years old, I'd be thinking a little bit differently, maybe. I'd be calling meetings with some of the other. I'd be saying, finally, let's see what we can do.
Right.
Right. By the way, let them do what they're going to do. We can't compete with that.
Yeah.
But we could create something maybe that has legs, right? But I'm not interested in being a resistance anymore. I'm not interested in fighting windmills anymore. I tried to fight windmills in boxing for my entire 25 years as a promoter. But everybody from the ratings organizations and the guys running it, to the managers, to the promoters, to the fighters who became content with fighting once or twice a year, everyone was complicit with a broken system, including the writers, by the way, who would call a guy champion who just lost a fight 9 rounds to 3 and got robbed, but 3 days later, the guy that won, that got that decision was the champion, and the other kid was fighting for a fraction of what he should have been fighting for, right? We all played into a broken system. If this is an opportunity to start fresh, I'm not going to be immediately adverse to it, and I'm not going to close, my mind to it. I as a fan, I'm more speaking to it now.
Lou, you're the man. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Appreciate the time very much. We're going to take a quick break. Here's my conversation with Dylan Dennis from yesterday. We'll be right back with Natalya Neidhart. Don't go anywhere. How's life?
It's good, man.
It's good to see you. Some people thought you wouldn't show up. I was getting some DMs saying, he's not going to show up.
Why? I don't know why everybody keeps saying that. It's like crazy after one fight that I didn't show up.
Press conference, they thought you weren't going to show up.
But that did suck, to be honest, traveling to London for one day. But
you didn't seem happy going there.
No.
You were saying a lot like, he's not selling the fight. Why should I sell the fight?
I can't say too much because of the contract.
Why?
Because under contract, he even admitted to it, saying that they made me sign something where I can't talk about the certain things.
Why did you agree to that?
Money, I guess. Right? I mean, what are you going to do, And he's not dumb. He doesn't want to get into a crazy beef with me. I said in the pre-interviews, I think it was right before we got to the face-to-face, we did like a face-to-face like this. I was like, if he says what he said about my dad to me, I'm going to kill him. So then in the face-to-face, I asked him, and he like straight up apologized and got like really scared.
Oh, really?
He said he didn't know. And
Is this coming out?
Yeah, it's going to come out. So face-to-face, yeah. So then
he apologized.
Yeah, he was, I don't want to go with families, man. I don't want to go across lines. And he was like really cordial. So like he kind of set me up that day, which is crazy because he was being so nice. and being like weird and like kind of didn't want to start any beef because he didn't want to get into an altercation so that they wouldn't let us get close. But then he played it really good because they checked us when we got on the stage for anything, throw or whatever.
Yeah.
But then when we got out of the stage to go back to the weigh-in, he had put the thing in his pocket, and they didn't recheck us. And if you watch, his security is holding his hands, and when he's holding my hand, he taps his arm to like go and hit me with the thing.
Damn.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
You really broke this down.
I know.
How annoyed
I
were you?
forgot because I was watching everything.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I wanted to get him too. So I wanted to get him too. But the UFC, when I was in negotiations with them, that was one of the big things is how much trouble I bring, how many things I do, and they can't have that shit. So I can't be going sucker punching KSI at the thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't look good. But we can get into that too if you want to get into
Yeah, we will. But just about the face-off, how pissed were you?
You know, it wasn't like a big shot. It sounded really loud. So I was like, damn, he fucking cracked me. But then I had no mark, and I didn't see the footage or anything. I didn't know he had a pancake because I can't see that then until I got to the room, and I was like, man, I have no mark, and that was so loud. And then I looked, and I was like, it was a fucking pancake. And I was like, no one fucking told me it was pancake day. But I was mad in the moment. I got through like fucking 6 security. You see, he played the move right where he fucking made me put my head down like on the bed did. Got me. Yo, look at my security I took down though. Watch this. Look how far I got.
Yeah, they got a lot on you.
My knees are fucked.
From that?
Yeah, because one of them I took down. If you see the guy on the ground, had like double
your knee is fucked?
Like it swelled up, but I have like all the skin is off my knees.
Because of this?
Yeah, all the skin is off. It's terrible.
That's crazy.
Hurts so.
Why? Because they were roughing you up?
No, because so like when I was going forward, one of the guys tried to double leg me, and I like kind of like hipped them over, and then they all like piled on us, and then my knee skid on the ground.
To the point where it annoys you when you're training? Show me.
I mean, this one is worse. It's swollen and look.
What do we got? Oh yeah, look at that.
Fucking,
you got some.
And this is a couple of days, and then it's swollen, and then the other.
You should sue them.
So that's another thing.
What?
Case I keep saying that he's happy that Logan sued me. I might sue him for assault and make him pay for the Logan case.
Oh my god.
Look at that Uno reverse card.
Where that is.
That would be the ultimate Uno reverse card. And no one would be like, hey, he's a bitch for suing because you know what? Logan's suing me. He's saying, oh, I'm so happy you're going bankrupt and all this bullshit. Now you're going to pay for it.
He keeps saying that the reason why you are going to show up this time is because you need the money. What do you make of this?
I think he's going to see how much I need the money on the night. I kept saying this before.
Is that true?
No. I have a lot of money. You know I have them. Come on, stop.
I'm
the richest people in Manhattan. You know that. You know this. Come on.
By the way, I was expecting some outlandish statements. So we brought back the lie counter.
Okay, yeah.
We brought back. So does that one count?
No, look at my network.
One of the richest people in Manhattan.
I mean, it would have to be. I mean, there's a lot of people in Manhattan. We were saying top 15,
top 15. I think we need to put it on the board.
No, we got to check.
What?
We got to check.
How can we check this?
My net worth.
No, we're putting it on.
Google my net worth. It says 100 million.
100 million.
Yeah, if you Google my net worth.
Right now?
It depends on the website. I got to look.
Wait, Google.
I got to help you on the website.
Dylan Dennis net worth.
Check it out.
Dylan Dennis network. It says Dylan Dennis.
Oh no, you're gonna go to the point now.
Of $2 million.
You're going to a fucking old website.
Put another one on the board there. Man. Come on, put another one.
Eric, supposed to be on my side here.
No, I am, but it just said. I mean, they're sending me.
I heard you're one of the richest journalists. So.
2 million. Yeah, we have it.
You're one of the richest people in MMA.
In MMA, I mean that's like being the tallest midget. I mean, what am I at that point? You know, like what are we talking about here?
No, it's true. You know what's so crazy too? Yes. Actually, the other day.
It's good to see your eyes, by the way.
You like mine?
Yeah. No, usually you wear the glasses.
Yeah. Sometimes I take them off when I look at you face to face.
I appreciate it.
I like looking at you.
Thank you.
Someone in the gym. Well, actually, I'm not going to say names. I don't want to interrupt. I don't know, whatever. But he said that he was helping you or holding men.
Yes. Chris.
And he actually said, he was like, I'm not joking. Ariel actually is really good. I swear to God.
Thank you.
And you know I don't compliment you.
No, I appreciate that.
And I was like, are you joking with me? Or like,
twice a week.
He says that you got hands.
Did he tell you about the left hand?
He just said that he was like, he said you don't want to.
All right. That was my conversation with Dylan Dennis yesterday. Check that out on the channel right now. What about Lou DiBella? What a guy. I mean, I think I asked like 6 questions, but I don't even know if I asked a single question. I had to kind of, it was like my boxing, in, out, flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. In a matter of seconds, though, we are going to be joined by a legend, a pioneer, a trailblazer, a Guinness World Record holder, most pay-per-view appearances, most matches, most wins, most WrestleMania appearances, most Raw and SmackDown matches by a female wrestler. In my opinion, the greatest female wrestler of all time. How could you say otherwise? Third-generation superstar, has done it all, continues to do it, just recently re-signed with World Wrestling Entertainment, from the most famous family in wrestling history, if you ask me. and most importantly, salt of the earth, a salt of the earth Canadian. One of the nicest human beings you'll ever come across. She is the one and only Natalya Neidhart. She is kind enough to join us right here and now. I hope she heard that introduction because it was glowing with praise. Natalya, how are you? So good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for, wait, I gotta see the Bret Hart. Where's the Bret Hart?
Okay, there's a lot of your family here. First things first.
Oh my goodness.
There he is.
This is so, okay, I'm not
You
gonna
can take
move
it. You can
Okay.
take it. I mean, you
This
hold
is
it.
so cute. Guys, this
Come
is
on.
adorable. Oh my God, this is
That's
so
my
cute.
guy. You know,
So
I
know
adore him.
I know you love Bret.
I
so
love
I'm
him
gonna
more than
hold-
anything.
I'm gonna hold on to Bret.
Can you please tell him I say hello?
I will. This is just so cool.
There's more.
I
There's an
love-
old Bret
oh my
Hart
God, this is-
Montreal Forum
this
newspaper
is-
ad.
Wow.
There's you know these guys.
The British Bulldogs. I
And
love
Matilda.
this. And Matilda. How cute is that?
You know this woman right
There's
over there.
Davy.
You know this woman right over my shoulder, right over there.
Me.
There you are. You were kind enough to give me
So-
that.
this is so
Your family is
cool.
everywhere.
This is awesome. I love all the wrestling, which of course, I know you love wrestling and you love old school
Adore it.
wrestling. I love when people love wrestling because it's so much easier to connect, especially when you come from like a long line of wrestlers. Like I
Yes.
always feel like since I've been a kid, that's just like, it speaks that universal language of growing up with like Gene Okerlund's voice in the background, or
gosh.
Bobby Heenan, or like Gorilla Monsoon, or it's like, those are like the voices of like my childhood sort of thing. So
You were just in the most famous wrestling building of all time, some might
MSG.
say, last night.
yes. And I never, like, whenever I'm in that building, I always go to where the entrance is. And it's just something I always do. And I always like walk out through the curtain through Gorilla because it's like my way of remembering Bret and Owen when they had their match there,
Oh yeah, WrestleMania 10.
WrestleMania 10. And it was like, I think arguably one of the greatest WrestleMania opening matches ever. And Bret had pitched for Owen to have that match.
Wow.
He had pitched for Owen to have that rivalry with him. And so I always feel like it was one of the most incredible moments of Owen's career. And it was like whenever I'm at MSG or inside the building, I always go and just like stand there, look around and think about them. Because I would have had nothing if
Right.
it wasn't for them, paving the way for me to do what I'm doing today.
Did you watch that live?
I did.
How old were you?
Yes.
It was
Oh.
93.
Gosh, we're gonna date me.
Yeah. Well, we're the same age.
So no, I mean, and I've always watched wrestling, like since I've been a kid. Like
Yeah.
I always loved watching my dad on TV because I knew it was special. Even when I was a little girl, I knew it was special. Especially loved like when it was my dad and Bret versus the Rockers.
Oh my gosh.
Like my little sister and I had, and I've spoken about this before, but we had these like big crushes on the Rockers. I like had a crush on Shawn Michaels and she had a crush on Marty, and it was like our dad was on TV and we were fans too. You know what I mean? Like I love wrestling and I've grown up in a huge wrestling family, of course, but I've always been a fan.
Sure.
You have to be. I feel like it's important.
By the way, did you know that your father, the late great Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who I adored as well, he made his MSG debut January of 1985.
And Howard Finkel was the one who announced him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was 40 years ago, 2 months ago.
Wow.
January 19th. Who did he beat that night?
You know what? I'm not sure, but
Tony Garea.
Tony Garea.
Yes.
Okay, and Tony Garea was there when I first debuted in WWE. He was a producer there.
Yes.
And he was such a sweetheart, but he was kind of like he was very old school.
Yes.
So you are a wrestling historian. I'm very impressed.
I adore that stuff, and I adore your family, and I adore you. You've been so kind to
Thank
me.
you.
You've been kind to my family. You've sent my kids merch and stuff like that. So
Got to
it's-
spread the love.
I know, and we talked about doing an interview in studio as you were deciding your future over
Right.
the summer. The timing didn't work out. You eventually decided to re-sign with WWE.
Right.
Could I ask, did you consider not?
So for me, that's a great question. Ariel with the hard-hitting
Oh,
question.
I'm sorry. You know,
No, you're good.
when you're a free agent, you got to look at options,
so,
right?
So when I was figuring out what to do with my deal had come up. So it was
Yeah.
up at the end of June of last year. So I had this huge decision because I was coming out of a 5-year deal. So I was, and of course I've been in WWE longer than, signed and uninterrupted longer than any other woman like in WWE history.
Since 07, right?
Since 07.
Yeah.
So I've never been let go, and I've never really had an injury that's taken me out longer than like 8 weeks. So I've
Unbelievable.
been so steady there. And when I think about it, like as far as other people that have kind of had that, I think about The Miz. The Miz and his longevity and just how he's just gone, like he's just so stable, so steady, so reliable. And for me, and Miz is incredible. I think he's an incredible entertainer. But for me, I think I was like reaching a crossroad where I was like, okay, to be brutally honest,
Please.
I have been screaming for change for myself for so long. And so it was just at that, sorry, I get emotional talking about it, but I was at that crossroad where I was like, I need more. I need more. I want more. And I'm just, and the thing about being in WWE for as long as I've been there is that it's very easy to get comfortable. It's very easy to go, I drive a nice car and I live in a nice house and I sleep in a nice bed. And for me, I don't sleep well. I don't sleep well because I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry for more. And I mean, that's why like one of the greatest luxuries I have in my life is having my own ring. Like having my own ring and being able to train there and having that outlet. And so that is something that I expressed in resigning, is that I just want more. And a lot of times you have to take a chance on yourself. You have to take a chance on yourself and you have to do things that are risky. And I would rather take a risk and land on, just fall on my ass than to do nothing. It is better to take a risk and have it fail than to do nothing. And so I had expressed some of the things that I wanted to do with the powers that be, and Triple H was great. He was extremely supportive. He was very understanding, and it was nothing against the management that was before him, because I have had an incredible career. I've gotten to do so many things. When I think about all the things that I've done and like just having all those Guinness World Records, it's because I've worked so much. I've done so much, but I've just very much needed change. And I think change comes with stepping outside of your comfort zone, which is why in the last month or so, you've seen that I've taken on.
Yes. Okay, because it's interesting because you said change, and then I think when I hear change, I think you don't resign. But what you did was you resigned, but
With
as you were saying,
a lot of change in mind.
Bloodsport, Josh Barnett, WrestleMania
Yep.
week, which I'd love to talk to you about because I think it's a fascinating promotion. And then NWA, Crockett Cup, I think that's May 17th. There's the Bloodsport, and there's the poster for NWA. This is
so
big
cool.
time stuff.
Yeah, and that's a big part of
And
like
you made this happen.
I did. I very much made this happen. I had to work very, very hard to make this happen. And
Was it difficult?
well, it's just that it's very unusual that a talent, especially somebody that has been there as long as I have been and who's as established as I have been, and who, like I said, people, there might be a perception of me that like, she's like, listen, I got expensive cats. I love the idea of stepping outside my comfort zone and like just doing something that nobody would expect. And so I think also I'm at the stage too where like I have been wanting so much more and screaming for so much more, but I think I have to do different things and I have to get a little uncomfortable. And so Josh Burnett is a really good friend of mine and somebody that I deeply respect. And I reached out to Josh and I was like, hey, you're going to be here during WrestleMania week. I would love to do what Shayna did last year. I said I told Josh and Triple H, I said I would love to work in that space and to show people what I can do. Because Josh's style, I've trained with Josh before. It is very, very reminiscent of the dungeon style. Yes. And of course, where my family has come from. And so Triple H and Josh were both super supportive of it. And like, it's one thing for me to just jump back into the division and do something. It's another thing for me to go outside of the division, like literally run a gauntlet on my career and go, hey, either I'm going to prove everybody wrong or I'm going to prove myself right, that I really am one of the greatest women wrestlers in the entire world. And I'm screaming for change. And so that's, again, why I reached out to Josh and why I reached out to Billy Corgan.
And so just curious, to play devil's advocate, if you didn't re-sign with WWE, you could do the Cody Rhodes thing, right? The Drew McIntyre thing, and then work for everyone. Why did you re-sign with them, but then go this route of trying to work with these other promotions?
Because I have a lot of faith in Triple H. I have a lot of faith in his ability to tell stories, and I've seen like, just in the last year, for example, the entire company is hotter than it's ever been, ever. Like we're hotter than the Attitude Era right now. Like Madison Square Garden was just like, we were in the locker room and the floor was like vibrating in the locker room. It's just like every show is big. It's not just WrestleMania. It's not just, oh, we're doing Royal Rumble. Every single show we're doing is sold out. Every single show is big. And a lot of that has to do with the direction and how we're telling stories. So like prior to this, sometimes I would just be, and this isn't like a dig at anyone by any means, but I would be thrown into like a storyline that would just last a week, or just thrown into a match, or just thrown into this, or just thrown into that. And I think I was always, and I still am, like a good sport and a good, team player. I always want to kind of do the right thing. And I it's not that I was like, I don't like to make demands or throw my weight around or be difficult backstage. So sometimes I would find myself in certain like storylines and things that like that I knew that they weren't going anywhere. Whereas I feel like now the difference is that Triple H really has a vision, and it takes time to get there. And you see that vision. I see so many incredible changes with people like Nia Jax, with Liv Morgan, with Chad Gable. Those are three people that I feel like Triple H has really changed their whole trajectory and turned like everything around for them, when like it's hard sometimes when you may have a certain perception of you or how you are. And like I think that he is incredible at telling stories with talent. And it takes time to tell those stories though. You see the very, very slow build. Like even with the Naomi, Bianca, and Jade storyline. Like it's a slow building story, but when they finally get to where they need to be and they're still going, it is so good. And I think that takes time. But in order for me to kind of reinvent, I have to take chances. So my decision to resign comes in my faith in the company's new direction and where we're going, and with new leadership, and just, the way that we tell stories. And so sometimes it doesn't always happen right away, but I also think that I have to do my part too as a talent. You cannot get comfortable. And I say this all the time when I'm coaching at my ring, the dungeon. You cannot get comfortable. When I see people tell me they want it and they're not in shape, I'm like, you're comfortable. When somebody tells me that they want it, but they don't train, and somebody tells me that they want it, but they're not a student of the game, you have to be watching everything. I watch everything. I watch wrestling across the board because I want to see what everybody's doing. And I want to find inspiration, and I want to go, oh, I don't want to do that, or oh, I want to do this, or I loved what they did. It doesn't have to just be in WWE, but that's the thing, is that I think there's so many opportunities right now with the company being as big as, like, it's just the direction that it's going and the ability to tell great stories, that for me, I'm really excited to just kind of dive into that, but in the right way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How do you feel about right now? Right now, it seems like you've got something going on with Maxine, right?
So Maxine is, first of all, I have so much respect for Maxine. Sydney is her real name. But she is very hardworking. She's on her days off. She's training. She's going to several different schools. She's trying to learn. She's going to the Performance Center. Of course, she didn't have a wrestling background. Right. She wasn't on the independents. So she is trying to learn and she's trying to grow. But for me, like, to be brutally honest, I do have to be careful about like just aligning myself with anyone, because think about how many tag team partners I've had in the past. And that's also because I've been in WWE for so long, 2 decades. Of course, I'm going to have a lot of tag team partners, but I really want to be careful as far as moving forward what I do and who I'm aligned with, and that everybody has the same sort of vision that I do, which is greatness. Like, I do not want to do anything that's mediocre. I want to do things that are great. And so that's the thing, is that I'm ready to do great work. And I think Maxine is totally capable of doing great work, but it's going to take time for me to really align myself with anyone, because of, just having so many different tag team partners.
Did you feel at a point that it was mediocre stuff, that you weren't proud of the work?
I mean, there's things that, like, I think especially because growing up in the business, and again, this is to be brutally honest, like, growing up in the business with a parent like Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Yeah. My dad is, he's one of my greatest inspirations in my life. But like growing up, my dad lost his job a lot. And so for me, I think subconsciously, even before I ever got to WWE, I always had this fear of like, I have to make everyone happy. I have to please everyone. I have to be the company girl. I have to be everything that my dad wasn't. I have to be perfect. So whatever Vince wants me to do, or whatever, my boss wants me to do, I just have to do what they want me to do. And so sometimes when you're trying to be perfect for everyone else, you can lose yourself. And it's not that, like, again, I'm not playing, I'm not playing the victim or anything, but sometimes, like, for example, like, I didn't necessarily want to pass gas in a storyline, but that was what was asked of me at that time. So for me, I was just trying to be like, yes, whatever you guys need, not only even if I don't like it, I'm going to try to make it fantastic. And so sometimes like when those things don't work out, you can compromise the integrity of your character. And it takes a little bit to kind of get that back. And so, like that, again, not to go back to what we were saying, but like, I just feel like now with the storylines and the way that the company is being run, everything is just being so much more well thought out. And I feel like it's such a great opportunity for me to really like do what I always wanted to do, which is tell great stories and just be great. And so like, that's exciting to me. That is so exciting to me to be able to like go, I'm in the best shape of my life. I wake up every single day. I don't know how this happened, but I wake up every single day pain-free. I love what I do. I love the women that I work with. And I just love wrestling. And I just want to be my absolute best. I was going to say the F word, but I
No, you can. You can say whatever you want here.
I might drop an F-bomb at some
That's
point
fine.
later.
I want to. We could go down this road, but I don't want to forget that you have something that you want to announce, and I want to ask you many things about this announcement. So the floor is yours. You've been teasing something that I think relates to this, or maybe it's another thing as well. But you are going to announce something very special to you. So what is it?
Yes. Do you want me to say it?
Yes, I would love it.
Okay.
It's your announcement. It's not mine.
So over the last year, I have been working on a book. And so today I'm announcing my book. And I was so nervous about, I was so nervous. I don't know why, like, I was so nervous about announcing it, like sharing it with the world, because I just have been like, it's been like my baby.
Yeah.
I've been working so hard on this and really like, just pouring my soul into this. And I was so grateful that this summer Triple H allowed me to have time to work on it and to really dig into it. Once I signed my new deal, I started working on it and really just pouring my soul into it. And it was one of the most like cathartic experiences of my life to be able to go, okay, I want to tell my story. Because once I started writing it, I realized that a lot of people don't know my story. That like a lot of what has been shared or like what's out there of me or what WWE has shown of me through 18 years of being in WWE and even being on Total Divas, it's a lot of people don't know my story. And that's really cool because I have a chance to tell my story. And it's scary. It's scary to open up in a way that's so, I really like things I've never talked about, things that I was scared to talk about, things that I was scared to share, the things that have happened within my family, with my dad, which my dad and I had, we were very close, but we had a very complex relationship, which it's just like being able to dive into that and to be able to tell the story. I just realized by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, nobody knows my story. And that's what makes me excited. So while I was scared to kind of share it, because a lot of it's really deep stuff. And a lot of it, there's a lot of fun in it too. And there's a lot of like insight, like, so, especially having worked for 18 years in WWE and having like, all sorts of crazy, funny scenarios. There's a lot of stuff that I think when I was writing is like, Natty, don't be afraid to say this. Don't be afraid to talk about this, because this could literally be something that could help somebody else in their life. This could literally be somebody else's survival handbook, for how somebody else is going to deal with a situation. Whether, and there's moments where we talk about, like I said earlier about my dad losing his job. When I started to really dive into those chapters and started to really talk about it, I was like, man, like when I was a kid, it was like 1 minute your dad's on TV and he's larger than life and he's winning the tag team championships. And then the next day your dad's getting fired. And as a kid growing up, there was just so much volatility because the wrestling business was very volatile back then. And it wasn't just like my dad was getting fired for just because. Vince McMahon loved my dad. He had a soft spot for my dad, but my dad had a lot of issues that were going on, and more than what people know. Not just drug-related issues or substance abuse issues, which are more public. So we dive into what those issues are. And then, of course, as I grow up and as my dad and I shared that same journey with my career and for me having done the same career as him, which is wrestling, I learned so much along the way. And more than I can, explain in just an interview, but it's just it was so therapeutic, and it was so hard at some points to talk about because there's just some things that just make me emotional sharing because, there's so much meat on the bone.
Right.
Like with my Uncle Owen passing away or my husband's injury that ended his career. My dad dying. Like, people just don't know about exactly what happened and exactly how it went down and exactly what we were going through. And so it's just I'm so grateful that I'm able to share it. It's really, I feel like this might be my most special piece of work.
Wow. I believe it's available October 28th, and the title is a very profound one. It kind of, I love the title, but it makes me a little bit sad as well. It's Last Heart Beating. We have the cover. There it is. It's a beautiful cover. Is that accurate? Do you think you are the last one? I know it's a play on words a little bit, but are you the final stop? And also, before you answer that question, without giving away too much, you were kind enough to allow me to read a few chapters, which I did last night, and I enjoyed it immensely. And like the fourth line in gave me like a little bit of a shot in the arm, because you write, the first and only woman from my family to wrestle, and I feel the weight of that legacy on my shoulders every day. And part of that weight is always trying to make sure my family's achievements in this fast-changing business are never forgotten. That's an incredible burden. That's a lot for one person to handle.
For me, I just never take it lightly. And this book is so special to me because I just want to make my family proud, but I feel like I was never supposed to make it. You know what I mean? Like it's just in such a male-dominated sport, especially when my grandfather just, he started all of this. He was like the tree who, he was rooted in the soil, and he grew these branches that helped my uncles, Brett and Owen and Davey Boy and Dynamite and my dad. He was able to give us all of that. And so, like, I've just had I very much wanted to make my grandfather proud, very much wanted to make Brett and Owen and Davey and Dynamite, my dad, proud, because their legacies are huge. And it's, I think about, our families. Like, my family our legacy is so special. And we've done, like, my family's really paved the way for so many people in the industry, but I am in WWE. I'm still after 18 years, I'm still standing. I'm still standing. And I outlasted everyone.
Yeah.
And in WWE, that's very, very hard to do. And it's funny, I actually saw Booker T this morning. Booker T he helped me come up with the cover, or the title.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Booker T helped me come up with the title. He did an interview, and he was asked about, which female superstar he thought was the greatest of all time. And I was just shocked when he said me. And I was like, wow, I'm blown away that Booker T would say that. And then I heard what he said, and he said, because she's the last motherfucker breathing.
Wow.
And so I said I was going to drop an F-bomb.
Yes,
but,
yes.
And so, of course, I'm a huge Tupac fan, and that's from, Booker T said it's from Breathing.
Yeah.
That Tupac song,
yeah.
Breathing. And even for the women, I outlasted all of them. All the women that I started with, I'm still standing. So I got to the end of my book when I finished the last chapter, and I realized, holy shit, I didn't have to main event a WrestleMania. I didn't have to win all these titles. I didn't have to have all the glory that everyone else had. I am still here. And I'm still standing, and I'm still doing what I love at the highest level of the sport. And I'm okay. Like, I'm unscathed. Like, I'm here. And so that was, to me, like, just this epiphany that I had about my career, and, just like, I'm so lucky that I get to do what I love. I'm so grateful that I get to work with such amazing people. I've had such incredible influences on me from, like, one of my greatest influences is Brett, which I know you love Brett. Like, and Brett, to me, so many people would never have the things that they have in their career without Brett. And I'm just speaking openly about that because I think people love Brett, and he's very celebrated now, but he doesn't always get his flowers for, for other people's greatest matches. You think about, for example, Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13. Steve says he's gone on the record and said, if I didn't have that match with Bret Hart, I may never have gotten to that next. Like Bret really helped as a catalyst for so many others while still maintaining his integrity as one of the greatest to ever do it. And you think about Bret's match with Owen, WrestleMania 10, Madison Square Garden. It was the greatest match of Owen's career because it was on obviously the grandest stage, but Bret really, really went to bat for Owen. He really fought for Owen to have that storyline. It wasn't supposed to be for Owen at all. It was supposed to be for somebody else in my family.
Oh, really?
So
Can I
yeah,
ask who?
I think it was supposed to. It'll get into family politics.
Okay, I understand. Yes.
But
we don't want that. We don't want that.
Save it for the memoir.
Okay, all right.
But so Bret really fought for Owen to have that moment, and like it was so special. It was one of the most special nights of Owen's life. And when you think about Bret Hart and Davey Boy Smith, Wembley Stadium, people to this day still talk about the magic of that match because Davey was phenomenal. Bret, they had this magical story, you know what I mean? And so like I think about that match. I think about Bret with Mr. Perfect. And you think about, you never know what those people are going through in their lives during that time. And sometimes when you hear, like, when Bret will tell, like, the backstory of, like, what was going on behind the scenes, even for my dad was struggling so much in his personal life during some of the most exciting times of his career. When they won the tag titles for the first time, my dad was really struggling. And I know because I lived through that with my dad. And then
When you say struggling, what do you mean? Substance?
Just struggling, with substance abuse, with keeping it together. I think it was so much pressure for my dad because back then, they didn't have the resources that we have now in WWE. We've got every resource in the book. WWE has everything we need to succeed and more. If you're going through something as far as mental health, they've got somebody there for you. If you're dealing with a concussion, we've got a whole team of people that work with us on that. If you're dealing with the substance abuse issue, WWE has a whole team of people that deal with that. Like there's every sort of resource we could have now because the company is such a well-oiled machine. Back in the 80s, like they didn't have all that. So when professional athletes go through stuff with, which is common now, we talk about, mental health in sports. Simone Biles was a huge catalyst in all of that, basically bringing to light, like, hey, mental health is extremely important. And just because I'm the best in the world doesn't mean that I'm not dealing with it. But my dad growing up, he suffered from depression. He suffered from anxiety. He suffered from a lot. And then he was on the road 280, 300 days a year. And he was just never home. So when he was home, he had like 2 days to kind of rehab his body and, rest and catch up and pay bills and do all this stuff. So like he was just physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. And of course they didn't have guaranteed contracts. So if you got a little banged up or you had, situations, you had to kind of work through it. Otherwise you don't, pay your bills. So, growing up with my dad and all that volatility, it's just Bret really was an anchor for my dad.
There he is, the big man right there, the legend.
And my dad is just like, he's one of my greatest inspirations. And I love my story that I share with my dad. Like he's the main character in my book. But Bret really helped him so much. My dad would have never had the career that he had in WWE without the support of my mom having his back at home and Bret having his back on the road and having that incredible support system. Like it's just, we all need that, but like my dad needed it more than others. And like, that's why I want to give Bret his flowers. Cause he's really a huge reason for why my dad had the success that he had because he had my dad's back.
What's interesting is you witness some of this, like in the book, you talk about some really dark days. Your car getting repossessed, your family car, house foreclosure. You go from being the richest family on the block to the poorest family because of these ups and downs. You shared a letter from Vince McMahon to your mother about why he was having to release your father. And so you witness all of this, all this heartbreak, and yet you go into that same business. Most people would say, I want nothing to do with this. Look at what it did to my dad. Why would you follow in those footsteps if you saw what it did to him?
As hard as it was at times for our family, because, there's a time, I don't know if you did you get the chapter about us moving into the Hart House?
Yes, of course.
So when, there's a moment in the book we discuss, we lost our home.
Yes.
So we weren't homeless because we had my grandfather's house to live in. So my mom and my sisters and I moved into the Hart House. And
In Calgary.
In Calgary. So like I said, we weren't homeless because we had the Hart House to move into, and we moved into a room in that house, and us four. And what was right outside my ring, or what was right outside my window, what was right outside the room was the ring, the wrestling ring. My grandfather had a wrestling ring in his yard. And when I looked, like, even as a teenager, and I looked outside, like, the window of that room that my mom and my sisters and I shared a bed in,
Wow.
there was a wrestling ring, so it was like this, it was just this subconscious feeling of, like, wrestling was always our anchor. It brought us the best, and it sometimes brought us the worst. It gave us the most amazing moments, like WrestleManias, and my family has literally lived and died for it. So that ring was just like that visual of the ring that my grandfather actually designed and built. He had his own ring, and he just welded it, designed it, all of it. It was his design, and it was a 20 by 20 foot ring on the Hart House property. But that ring was right outside the lawn of, like, it was just, if you lived in that area and you were walking your dog, you'd see a wrestling ring on the lawn. And it was just, when I looked out the window, that's what was there. And so that's also really, there's a lot of very cool moments in the book where, like, as I didn't realize that until I started writing it, that I was like, holy shit, this, like, there's been so many aha moments while writing it that I was like, I knew that, like, wrestling would be what saved me. Like, I knew that it would be what grounded me. It was the only thing that when I started doing it, when I started, like, my very first day in the dungeon with TJ, I just fell in love with it. It was like, it was an addiction. It was so fun. I got such a high off of it that I just wanted to keep doing it. I had so much fun. I just felt so much, like, instant passion for it. And that's the thing, is that when you start doing this, you start to realize how much fun it is. There's nothing like it. You see Travis Scott.
Yeah.
And he's talking, I love that clip where he's talking to Triple H about, like, I want to do more of this. And Triple H says, like, isn't it fun? Like, there's nothing like it. It's just, there's nothing like it. Even at the smallest scale, like in a little room in the dungeon, which is just a small little room in the basement of the Hart House, or in front of 100,000 people, which I performed in front of. Like, it's just so much fun.
Why do you think your sisters never followed?
They are totally opposite of me.
Okay.
Like,
Did they even dabble? Did they try?
I mean, no. Like,
Okay.
they're just, they're totally different than me. And that's the thing, is that we're all three of us are very different, but I'm so grateful that I was able to, like, do it, because it's something that brought my dad and I really close together. Like, he didn't initially want me doing it. And I've spoken about that before in interviews. He did not want me doing it at all. And then he came to one of my shows. It was only in front of, like, 50 people. It was at the Ogden Legion in Calgary. It was like a very small.
The Stampede show.
Yes, Stampede Wrestling. And he was so excited. He saw me throw a forearm. And he was like, afterwards, he, like, came backstage and he was like, I didn't even know he was there, because I had asked him to come to the show, and he was late getting there. And I was like, oh, he probably is not going to come. Like, I'm sure he's not going to come. And I had it in my mind that he wasn't going to come. And then I was in the ring, and I could see him, like, from a doorway, just watching. And he fell in love with what I was doing. So it was just, like, it brought us closer. It gave us a different relationship that, like I said, after I wrote the book and got to the end, I was like, I am so happy that we got to share that together. Like, it was just so special that we got that. And not everybody gets that with their parent, not everybody gets to have that. So, and I think that's what makes Charlotte and Rick, like, I love Ashley, because for many, many reasons I love Ashley, but she has that special bond with her dad through the good, bad, and everything in between. Like, it's so special. Same with The Rock. Same with The Rock and his father. I know their relationships are complex. Dwayne has spoken about his dad having a complex relationship with him, but great at the same time. Like, when you get to share that with your parent, it's just, like, such a unique experience. And nobody understands it, because unless you're really in the trenches like we are, nobody really gets it. I was saying that to Brett the other day. We were talking, and I was just talking about the book, and I was saying, because I love Brett's book. It was actually Brett. It was Brett and Becky Lynch that inspired me to want to write a book. because I
phenomenal.
loved Becky's book.
Yes.
If you haven't read Becky's book, sorry, I've been so emotional. I feel like this has
it's
just been like a
okay.
therapy session. But Becky Lynch's book is phenomenal. And after reading that book and listening to the audio version as well, I was like, oh, I really want to write a book. And so it was Becky's book that inspired me
Wow.
a lot. And then Bret Hart's book. I mean, it's a New York Times bestseller.
Incredible.
But Bret's book, his book is really special. He's very, very honest. And that's the great thing about Bret, is that not everybody's going to like what he says and not everybody's going to agree with it. But he's very, very honest and he's very real and he's very, he's got a great recollection. And he told me, he said that when he was, and he's spoken about this before too, but when he was on the road, his very first years in wrestling, he'd carry like a tape recorder and he would talk into his tape recorder after his matches. And he told me, he's like, Natty, you need to keep a journal of everything after the shows and talk about how that match made you feel and what it was like working with this person and your day's events and things that were happening at home. And he kept like a journal throughout his whole career. And so I actually have done that.
Wow.
I have like thousands of notes about people that I've wrestled and that those nights and those moments and so I'm so happy that I'm able to have all that, documented and to be able to do that, because Bret really inspired me with, he was able to go back and recount certain situations and certain things, and really, he was also super self-deprecating in it.
Oh, it was great.
Like,
the book was phenomenal. It was quite thick. I read it on my honeymoon. I loved. I adore Bret Hart. Like, I don't know if you truly understand how much I adore your uncle. I adore this man. And when I see things like they paid homage to him at Elimination Chamber and your father with the heart attack in the main event. Did you see that?
I did.
This stuff makes me feel so great because he's the first famous person that I ever loved. You know what I mean? I told you the story about being a kid, and my mom told me to close my eyes when I'm at the doctor's, saying, think of something that you love, or think of something that makes you happy, because I was so afraid of getting a needle. And I would think of him winning the title. That was my happy place. That's how much I adore this man. But you know what's crazy? March 11th is today. I don't know if you know this. March 11th, 1983. Very special day for your father. He became a Stampede Wrestling Tag Team Champion for the second time with his partner, Mr. Hito. Do you know this man? Here it is. I want to watch it with you. Here's the finish right here. The great Jim the Anvil Neidhart. At the time, just known as Jim Neidhart. He's there in the red trunks. You see him?
I do. Oh, my gosh.
You ever see this match?
I feel like I've watched so much wrestling that I have seen it, but I haven't seen it in a minute.
March 11th, 1983.
Wow.
Neidhart and Hito win the Stampede International Tag Team Championships, beating Duke Myers and Kerry Brown. And there's the finish right there. I love this stuff. Gordon Soley on the mic. A malfunction at the junction. Look at him.
It's incredible.
How old is he in 1983?
Well, he was born in 55.
Okay.
So I'm not good at math. I actually got like a 17% on my math test.
28?
He was young.
And then we see a promo here from... Do we have the promo? Do we have the post-match promo from Jim?
I'm so excited to see all this.
Do we have it? There it is. Here it is.
There they are right here. The Belt Hito and I champions. What a moment for you. Oh, it's fantastic. The sweet smell of victory, huh, Hito? It's beautiful. It's beautiful, Ed. I'll tell you something, Brown and Myers. Hito and I are not going to run away from these belts. We're going to put them up every match if we have to. We're not going to hide behind them. If we have to fight the Assassin and Miller, we'll do it. We'll put it up anytime. We won't sit back for 2 or 3 months and not have put up a title bout.
I'm now, tonight, 6-time champion, Dr. Jim.
6 times you've had.
Tonight, very lucky, big night. Very intelligent.
42 years ago today.
Incredible.
Isn't that crazy?
I love that you're a wrestling
Well, I
historian.
have some help.
You're a wrestling historian. I love
that stuff.
Yeah, you're always so respectful to like our industry, and it's one of the reasons why I really wanted to speak with you today, and of course share this news, because I just love how you're just like, you ask great questions, and some of them aren't always easy to answer, but you're honest, you're real, and I think that's I think it's so good, especially this day and age when like people want honesty.
Especially in the wrestling world, right? Because now you guys, and by the way, speaking to the microphone so we hear you.
Sorry, I'm just like I feel like we're just having coffee.
I know, this is great.
We're having coffee.
But the times have changed a little bit, right? Because excuse me, I'm getting emotional too. You guys, it's almost like the old school way of, you see The Rock do a post-fight press conference or a post-match press conference after the whole Cena thing at Chamber, and he's talking about his character. Could you imagine what your dad and Brett would think of that in the 80s, where those lines are being blurred? At the same event, you're doing an interview talking about what happened, but outside of the character. You like this or no?
So different. It's so different because sometimes you just don't know what's
allowed and what's not.
It gets you really thinking. Like it's there. I look back to what Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, they were doing. This is a long time ago, but they were doing like a press conference after a match, and I think they had a shot or something together, and they were so funny. You could tell that they were like a little drunk.
Yes,
but it was so funny, and like I love it when you kind of pull down that fourth wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think
break the
like
fourth wall. It's the best.
It's just like it's. I think we're doing a lot more of that in WWE, and like it's fun because I feel like now for the first time in my 18 years of being in WWE and having grown up in it, I always felt, and that's what I was saying earlier, I just always felt like I had to be perfect, especially when Vince McMahon was in charge. Like I just had to be perfect. I had to show him that like I was going to be the exact opposite of what my dad was. And I could be so professional and I could just do everything that everybody wanted and say all the right things and do all the right things. And what I love right now is that Triple H and the powers that be, Nick Khan and our bosses, they're not expecting us to be perfect. They're not, they're letting us be real. And so when I had asked to do Bloodsport and when I asked to do Billy Corgan's show, NWA, I very, very much wanted to do it. I fought very hard to do it because I was like, I really want to make this happen. Of course, with scheduling and like it's WrestleMania week, we have to make sure everything kind of aligns. They were both Nick and Triple H were both super supportive of it. They were like, yeah, that sounds awesome. No problem. Like, it was, granted, we have to make sure, again, scheduling and that it's the right fit and we have all the proper things aligned so that it's good for everyone. Right. But like, I could never have even dreamed of doing that prior. You know what I mean? Because
is there more of that to come for you?
There is.
Oh, there is?
Yes.
Anything you can tell us?
Those.
Okay.
That will be on the next stop for the Natty World Tour.
Okay.
But there is, and I want, like, that's why doing NWA is so important to me. Not only is Billy Corgan a really good friend of mine, I met him in 2006 at Brett's Hall of Fame ceremony.
Oh, wow.
And he introduced himself to me. He was with Mick Foley. And he came up to me and he was like, I'm a huge, fan of wrestling. And he's a fan of all wrestling. He loves wrestling. And so it was no surprise to me that he bought the NWA library.
Yeah.
He loves old school wrestling. He's a student of the game. But he is also an artist. And so Billy is all about the art. When you think about him and you think about his music and you think about, like, I went to one of his NWA shows and I was so impressed by how it was run. And I was like, of course it's run like this. Of course it's super professional because Billy's a rock star. He's a massive rock star.
Yes.
He sells out MSG.
Yes.
So he knows what it's like to put on a beautiful production. And so being at a show backstage a little while ago, I was like, I really want to do Billy's show. And now with the vibe being so different in WWE and like us being allowed to do more stuff and have more opportunities and not just like, on Raw or on SmackDown, like, I want to show what I can do in all sorts of different spaces. I want to show what I can do in a blood sport space. I want to show what I can do with Billy Corgan's, with NWA. And again, more shows, more things are coming, but I'm not going to give too many spoilers.
Okay.
But it's exciting because one of the things I love, and this is what Brett was amazing for his entire career, I love giving back. And I will never not say that. I love it. I love it so much, but I want more. I want to do more. I want to be more. I want to be better, but I also want to help other people be better. I think when we all work together to be better, it just makes for a better product. So whomever I work with in Billy Corgan's, in NWA, I want them to go, wow, holy shit. I just learned so much. When I do stuff at NXT, like I was working with Carmen and I was working with Lola Vice. I had this incredible underground match with Lola Vice. And I had so much fun. It was probably my favorite match that I did last year. And after the match, like it was I wanted it to be such a learning experience for her, but also for me, and that's the thing is that the second Fit Finlay told me this, and Fit Finlay is one of the greatest professional wrestlers that ever lived,
right.
And he could still kill people with his bare hands if he needed to, because he's amazing. But he told me the second that you stop learning, and the second that you don't think you need to learn, or that you don't think you need to grow, or that you've got it all figured out, is the second that you need to hang it up. And so I always thought about those words that Fit told me. And like Fit, even now, having been so deep into this, he's still a student of the game. Fit was our producer for the Underground match.
Okay.
And I learned so much. And I was like, wow, Fit opened my eyes to things that I never knew. And then I was able to transfer that to Lola. And then she was able to grow out of it. It's about growing everyone and growing myself. Like, it's funny because sometimes I'll see, I was talking about this a little bit the other day on Busted Open Radio, but I was about like, sometimes you'll see headlines and like somebody will be like, Natalya's this, or, so-and-so's that, or it's like, at first you're like, whoa, wait, what? Wait, why are they saying this about me? But sometimes they're right. And that's what I said to Bubba, because he had made a comment,
I saw
and
this.
I was like, Bubba, no shit. Like,
he was critical, and you,
he was
your
critical.
feelings were a little bit hurt,
He was
right?
critical, and
What did he say?
He just said something along the lines of like, WWE hasn't done anything with Natty, something along those lines. But here's my thing: is that's why I'm taking a chance on myself in a way that I've never done before, and I need to. Like, I need to run the gauntlet on my career to prove.
Of this.
Yeah, like it's so important to me. That's why I've fought so hard to do more, and I'm excited to do more outside of my regular space. It's so easy. Like, and it's like I said earlier, I sleep in a nice bed. I don't sleep well because I'm so hungry. I wake up and I'm hungry. Like, I just want to do more. And that's why I started writing the book. That's why I coach. I train in my dungeon on my days off. I was in there last week 3 different times with a group of 3 different groups working on all sorts of stuff, training for Bloodsport, training for WWE, training with, my cousin Harry Smith came in and he was coaching. And it's like, I'm so hungry, and I'm about to announce a couple of other projects that I'm working on. But like, I just want to do everything. Like, I don't go to bed comfortable thinking like, oh, I've got it all figured out now, and I'm just so comfortable. Like,
Right.
like that's what I love about Becky. That's what I love. She always wants to grow and do more. And sometimes, when women want more, we may be perceived as being difficult or, but it's important to have growth, like just because I've been doing this a long time doesn't mean that I don't need and want more. But you also, like for me, I have to take it upon myself to make those changes happen. I can't just expect the wrestling business doesn't owe me anything. It doesn't owe me anything. The wrestling business owes none of us anything. And so
I would argue if there's one family that is owed, it's your family. If we're being, I know that's a cliche, but like honestly, the wrestling gods owe you guys a lot. I mean,
thank
come on.
you. But I just try to wake up with not having that sense of entitlement, but going, what?
There's the family right there. We were just showing your family.
Oh, I love that.
Look at this family right here. I mean, this is royalty.
That's the heart out.
This is Canadian royalty. This is wrestling royalty. Greatest family in wrestling history. There's not even a question.
Thank you. I'm so proud of my family, but like for me, I never feel like I'm owed anything. I always want to earn my spot. The women's division in WWE has never been this strong ever. It has never been so competitive. When I look at the women in NXT and I look at the women on Raw and I look at the women on SmackDown, I'm like, this is the greatest women's, like as a whole, collectively, this is the strongest that it's ever been.
And who helped usher in that era?
Thank you.
Pioneer, the trailblazer, you know it.
Well, and the thing is, though, is that I don't rest on all the things that I've done. I don't go, wow, I did this, or I have this, or I did that, or I had this match. I've had some incredible matches. One of my favorite matches of my entire career is against Charlotte Flair, TakeOver 2014. It was the very, very first TakeOver, and it was only in front of 200 people. And I love that match more than any WrestleMania that I've ever done.
Wow.
It was like just such a special, special match, and it was at NXT. But I never just rely on great matches or things that I've done in the past. Like for me, I think you got to earn your spot. So in all seriousness, I feel like I need to step outside of WWE to work my way back in.
Wow. I mean, that's a profound statement in itself. I spoke to you around 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago in Las Vegas before Money in the Bank when you were going up against Ronda Rousey. It was the morning of the match, and I asked you at the very end, like, what's there left for you to do? You've done it all. And you said, I want to headline WrestleMania. That's like the last thing. Now speaking to you 2.5 years later, it feels like the goal is completely different.
Oh, I still want to headline WrestleMania.
You still, but
Yes.
there's things that are lighting a fire under you. Like this is a different person
Yeah.
that I'm speaking to.
I mean,
there's a chip on your shoulder.
yeah, and I think you have to have that. You know what I mean? Like you have to want more for yourself. You cannot rest on, oh, well, I'm in WWE. It's funny because, again, writing the book, I realized because I had to go back and go through all my journals and go through like my life. And I realized to get the contract with WWE was so hard. People, again, that's all documented in the story, but it was so hard to get it. And then once I got into developmental, signed my first WWE contract for $24,000 a year. I was so excited. I felt like I was the richest person in the world. It got even harder. I got to developmental and it was a struggle. It was hard because it gets even more competitive.
Right.
Then I got called up to SmackDown and it got even harder. And then all these years later, 18 years later, I realized this is hard. Holy shit, this is hard. This is so hard, but I love it because you never stop growing. And I think that's why it's all so addicting because, like when I look at, for example, he's going into the Hall of Fame this year, but Triple H, like look at all the different things that he's done in his career. He started out as a talent. He's always loved wrestling history. He's like a student of the game when it comes to like, if you talk about old school wrestling with Triple H, like Buddy Rogers and like old school stuff, he loves collecting all that stuff, like Gorgeous George, and like he loves wrestling history. He started out as a performer, and then he started working his way behind the scenes to learn how all of it works. And it's so important to do that because we're not all going to wrestle forever. So he started learning the ins and outs, but it's not just about like when you're a talent, and I know this because my husband is a producer. TJ has said, he's like, it's so different when you're a producer because there's so much other stuff that you have to look at. He's not just a wrestling coach at all. When you work in WWE, you're like, as a producer, you're a television producer. Yeah. You got to figure out angles, especially now with us being on Netflix. Everything is geared towards television. It's entertainment. It's all, there's so many different factors that you have to look at. So you see the transition from Triple H as a talent to working behind the scenes to the role that he has now. And it's just been like, it's been a slow progression of building, growing. And then you realize like, oh, those are the things that like you make mistakes, you learn from them. You make gains, you have losses. Oh, this didn't work. I wonder why that didn't work, or that worked great. Let's do more of that. Or it's all just a learning experience, but it's also fun because no day is ever the same. No crowd is ever the same. No show is ever the same. There's all sorts of manipulating variables that make what we do in WWE so different and so challenging at times too. I mean, I've been in like situations where there was a volcano in Europe and nobody could get back and they had to completely rewrite Raw with all like people that weren't supposed to be on the show sort of thing, but like even through the pandemic, when we did the show through the pandemic, we never missed anything. We kept going and going and going and going. And during that time, a lot of people kept their jobs because our show kept going. We led the way for WWE, really led the way for so many other places that kind of have the courage to keep going, in sports. Like we were kind of I feel like we were the leaders of that, where it was like, listen, even during the most crucial times in people's lives, we still need entertainment. We still need an outlet. And so like, I think about all that, I loved working during the pandemic. It was,
you did, in front of no one.
Even though there was no
You were allowed
audience,
to try things, different
It
things?
was just a different challenge.
Yeah.
It was a different challenge, and it really brought all of us girls, especially in the locker room, it brought us all really like closer together. And the locker room is such a special place. Like it is such a sacred place. It is so special. And even this past Royal Rumble, we had we had the Rumble, and then we had a big toast in the locker room. And I love that all of us girls came together. I'm not going to say all of us, but a good portion of us came together because I'm not saying all of us because I don't want to break,
Oh yeah.
I gotta.
Kayfabe.
I'm old school like
Sure,
that.
sure.
I can't
appreciate that.
act like.
I respect that.
I can't act like people that are challenging each other.
No. Driving in the same car, that's crazy.
Driving in the same car, I
Yes.
know. Trust me, when my dad was working for my grandfather in Stampede Wrestling, like if you were a heel, you couldn't ride with the babyface, and if you were caught doing that, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
My grandfather was like, even when people would come over to get their paycheck, because my grandmother, she was the one that gave like Andre the Giant his paycheck. They had to the kids, like my mom growing up, she was so scared of like the heels when they would come in the kitchen and like ask for their money, and it'd be like, these bad guys, and they would have to kind of remain in character because the kids didn't know that it was like. So I digress,
Yes.
but doing, a big toast after the Women's Royal Rumble, it was like so special because it just reminded me of like we all just love this and we all want to do great work and we all need each other. You know what I mean? And so I love those moments because you don't get those moments. That's why the women's locker room, especially, it's so special. We had really experienced that closeness during the pandemic. And I love those times. But like, those are the moments too that are like, I was saying that when I was working on my book. I was saying that like some of the best moments of my career weren't always in the ring. They were behind the scenes,
Right.
where you're hugging somebody after a match. Like, I worked with Lacey Evans in Saudi Arabia, and we did the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia. And it was just like, we came back and like, we were the first women to perform in Saudi Arabia. And we had this incredible like embrace after. And like, it was so like, I'll never forget it, but she got on the phone and called her little daughter up. And she's like, I did this for you, you know, and she was crying, her daughter was crying, but like, it was such a like transcending moment for like women. And I just remember those times where it's like, this business can really make you feel a certain way. And a lot of the times it's in the best way.
Wow. What a life. What a freaking life.
And,
what stories,
by the
what
way,
passion.
there's still so
This is
much
the,
in
by the way,
the
this is
story.
the I want to read the rest of the book now. Is it October 28th that it comes out?
I believe so, yes.
Can people
I'm not
pre-order
sure.
it yet?
You can pre-order it today.
Yes, okay.
So I'll put
Wow.
a link up on my link in my bio.
Yes. And you have a foreword by The Rock and a preface by
Yes,
Bret Hart.
So actually, I want to do a double forward by
Oh
both
my
of
gosh.
them. So we're
Jeez
we're
Louise.
still working on that.
Listen, that's
but
those are two pretty big names.
yeah, I wanted Brett and The Rock to do the forward. So and both of them are, you know, such inspirations to me. And of course, you know, it's very, very important to me to be able to like, you know, collaborate with two people that of course have grown up in this and have loved this as much as I do and just contributed in different ways. So they're both massive inspirations for me. So
one last question before I let you go. We could talk for 3 hours, but we have to go, unfortunately. Could I just get your opinion as someone who's been in the business, John Cena turning heel?
ooh, well, I've said this before, and I'm going to
Okay.
say it again.
Okay.
Let me have a little. Let me
Okay,
have a little
okay.
sip of this tea.
Yes. Okay. Oh, I know what you're going to say. Can I guess?
You can guess.
You're going to say if you watch Total Divas, you saw this version of John Cena, right?
So I was on every damned episode of
Yes.
Total Divas.
But this is different, no?
No, but like it's funny because I joke about it because John is like, listen, in real life, John is a damn sweetheart. He is one of the most generous, kind, compassionate people that you will ever meet. But if you go to John Cena's house, you better damn well take your shoes off and you
Okay.
better use a coaster.
I respect that. I saw that one scene where his girlfriend at the time puts the wine glass on the island.
Yes.
Gets mad about this.
And but I mean, this is the thing is that and John Cena says this is his, prior to turning heel,
Yeah.
he said that this was, his final run in WWE. So he basically has got to just like pull out every stop.
Yeah.
And the one thing that everybody's been wanting to see him do is turn heel.
Yes.
And I think that like when I look at Roman Reigns, I think the best work that Roman's ever done is as a heel. He's so exciting that he actually turned himself to being a babyface because
Yeah.
people just love him so much because it's just the world is different now. So now like John Cena's heel turn was the most viewed thing ever in wrestling.
Incredible.
But it's cool because that's, again, the exciting thing about WWE is that you just want to see what's going to happen next. That's why our company is on fire. Literally, we're doing so well because it's like reading a great book. You want to know what the next chapter is going to be. You want to get to like, you want to get to the juicy stuff. And that's why I'm excited for people to read my book because we just shared a little bit, but there's so much more to share. There's a lot of thought-provoking conversations. There's stuff that people might not also agree with, but it's my story. It's my story. It's my journey. It's the way I saw it. And it's the stuff that that happened to me and it's through my eyes. And it's funny because in Becky Lynch's book, she has a little disclaimer at the front. She's like, listen, I've been body slammed a lot. So this is how I saw it. This is how I remembered it. And I told Becky, I love that because this is how I remember it. And, there's going to be some really important conversations that we're going to have that we've never had before in WWE. Like we've never publicly talked about, but WWE and the powers that be are letting me discuss them for the first time in this book. So it's scary. It's scary to think about talking about them, but like in talking with my family and my mom and my sisters, like we all agree that it's going to be very powerful and I think it'll help change people's lives. So thank you so much,
Very
Ariel.
well written. It's very honest. I got to read like 3-4 chapters, 5
Yes, I
chapters
sent you some
yesterday,
chapters.
and I was like, wow, you go into it. You go into it,
Yeah.
and there's a lot that's happened to you. So I urge everyone to pre-order. I urge everyone to check it out, and maybe when it comes out, you can come back on.
Yes.
In October or anytime. You're welcome here anytime. And please say hello to your family, to your uncle. Tell him I love him dearly, and he's he's my hero.
Oh,
really.
I will. And Brett is
Yeah.
like, he's my hero too. I love Brett. And listen, nobody does pink and black like Brett does, but like,
Still to this day,
if somebody
the
was going to
greatest
do
of
it
all
almost
time.
as good, I definitely think it would be me.
Oh my God, you have carried the flag. You have done that tremendously, and the torch.
Well, I've had great people that are like amazing, an amazing family and amazing role models to look up to. And just, I'm so lucky and so grateful that like my family has been able to help me get to where I'm at today, and that I'm still able to do the things that I love in WWE. Because, it's not easy to have made it this far, but I'm also like, if it all ended for me tomorrow, it has been the best ride.
No, the ride's not over. You've got a great year coming up.
Listen, got some great stuff coming up. And by the way, I'm definitely going to be a champion again. So mark my words. If I'm not a champion by this year, then you know what? Then we can talk about the ride being over.
All right. Thank you so much, Natalya Neidhart, one of one, pioneer, trailblazer, future Hall of Famer from the most famous and best family in wrestling history. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Rafael Fiziev. Don't go anywhere. We appreciate you watching. Going into the main event, Alex Pereira against Magomed Ankalaev, how did you think before the fight it was going to go?
Man, first, I said many times like my predictions that I thought like Magomed Ankalaev will use his wrestling more, and Pereira will be much more destructive with his punches, with his combinations, and with the movement. And I think he showed his worst performance in his career. And Magomed Ankalaev, he used some few things what worked for Alex. Yeah.
Okay, so he did try to use his wrestling, right, Magomed? But he was 0 for 12 with his takedowns. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I thought like he will be more successful with his wrestling, but he didn't surprise me with his wrestling, and he's I think he have a good basement in the wrestling in sambo. So I thought like he will be better in that fight. This way, Alex surprised, I think, a lot of people with that. Yeah.
Who did you score the fight for?
Man, it was a little bit on the side of Ankalaev, but if you know how the judges score a lot of fights, the title fights, in a way that you have to beat the champion directly in the right way, knock him down or on the point strictly, then he will win. But he won just like 2 or 3 rounds, or 1 round was like 50-50. So this way, I think it was on Alex's side. But we all know that Ankalaev's doing these type of performances like he's not that type of the guy who's going for the knockout every time.
So you mentioned that you thought it was Alex's worst performance. Do you think that was because Alex, for whatever reason, didn't show up, or do you think that was because of something that Ankalaev was doing?
Man, ask him.
Yeah.
ask him what was that. But he was in a defense. He was really defensive style, not offensive. Even if he's a champion with everyone except me, he fought every time like aggressively. He wanted to strike. He wanted to catch the strikes. And with Ankalaev right now, he was how to say, defensive. Like John Jones' last fights in light heavyweight, he just did what's necessary, and but it was not right now. It was not enough, especially for judges. Yeah, so still the champion have to prove that he's a champion and defend correctly. And Magomed Ankalaev was more active, and that was his, I think, for the judges.
All right, we are back on the program. It is great to be back. It's been a great day. It's been a roller coaster of a day, from Lou DiBella to Natalya Neidhart. Some emotion, some tears, incredible stories. I can't wait to read the rest of the book, so I'm looking forward to that very much. But for now, let us say hello to our final guest of the day. He was in action on Saturday at UFC 313, a hard-fought fight against one Justin Gaethje, a fight that I thought he actually won. I still do. I don't care what anyone has to say. Let's say hello once again to Rafael Fiziev, who is kind enough to join us. Oh, back in the same spot as last week. It's like nothing happened. Hello, Rafael. How are you?
What's happening? What's happening? I'm good. I'm good.
Can I tell you something? I feel like I'm the only one who has said this, and I didn't say it because I thought you were coming on. I got into an argument with my friends on the show yesterday. I thought you won that fight. Am I crazy?
Bro.
You agree?
Bro, just saying me, what do you use sometime? I use also maybe.
No, listen. 1-1 going into the third. 1-1 going into the third. The number one criteria in judging is damage, right? And in the first half of the third round, your body kicks and your punches to the body, I thought inflicted more damage than the second half of the third round, which he won, but I thought you inflicted more damage in that third round, in the first half.
Oh man, I think you know what? This uppercut changed all this fight.
Yeah.
Honestly, this uppercut is like ooh. And when I stand up from this uppercut on the second round, you know, I was like in Disneyland. Ooh, everything like this on my head. Like
Okay.
I don't know how I stay. And when I going to sit before round three, I'm sitting and still is Disneyland. And like round three, like beginning of the round, maybe first 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes, it was also Disneyland. And you know, all my life I thinking like, oh, if somebody punch me so hard and I going to knock down like I have, can I stand up? Can I stand up and continue in the fight or not? I always, all my life, I thinking about that, and this is first time, and like, oh, I get it. I stand up and I finish the fight. Good, okay.
So we talked when we spoke before the fight about your layoff. In the end, how did you feel out there? It had been, a year and a half since your last fight. How did your body feel? How did your cardio feel?
Cardio is not too good because like it's short notice. It's short notice, and I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to the fight. But mentally, when I go into the fight, man, I first time in my life I smile so much before fight when I go.
Wow.
And I have like 250 fights in my career, like almost 300 maybe, and I never smile, never. And this time I go smile. I'm enjoying. I'm relaxing. I know my people support me. I know a lot of fans gonna love this fight, and I'm I these 2 years I know fight. I don't feel it's happened. You know, I just know fight maybe 1 month. I feel like that. So man, it's so good. But I'm sad because I'm lost because I wanna win. I do all my best on this fight, but still, you know, like I'm feel so good during in the fight.
Do you really feel this way? You wrote afterwards, sorry guys, I let you down and didn't get the win. Congratulations to Justin. It was great to share the octagon with you. Do you really feel like you let your fans down? Because if I'm a fan of Rafael Fiziev on Saturday, I'm proud of you. You take this fight on short notice, 10 days notice against one of the best fighters in the world at 155. You haven't fought in a year and a half, serious knee injury. I don't think you let anyone down.
Yeah, no, not anyone down. But I know one thing: it's people love the winners, and this is true. What we have to know. Yeah, people love the winners, but and no problem. I'm just yeah. maybe I'm sad first night, so sad, but after right now I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. People, I see how people enjoy it.
Yeah.
I see how people like this fight, and this is for me more important than than sad moments. You know.
You just said you were smiling. It was the happiest you ever were walking to the cage. Why do you think that was? Was it because of the layoff? Because you haven't done it in so long and you realize how much you missed it?
Yeah, because I miss it so much. Because I waited so much, and my walkout music. It's I represent all my Shia community, my Shia brothers and sisters, and I know what they're feeling when they hear that. I know what they're feeling, and I'm feeling the same. And when I go, like I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
the best emotions in my life.
I liked your hair, by the way. I liked the cornrows.
Oh yeah, bro! I just wake up right now. My hair is like a homeless guy, and I just put it together.
But in the fight, I liked what you did. The cornrows, that was nice. Did you like
Oh,
it? The
first time,
braids.
yeah, I like it too. But it's so itchy, and all fight I feel like I have hat on my head,
Oh,
like
wow.
hat on my head. I feel something on my head, like. And after fight straight away, like I tell to my guys like, hey, take it off. It's look good. It's look good, but honestly, it feels not too good.
Can I ask, a little bit was made about his gloves, that it didn't have the logo on it. What did you think of this?
Uh, I don't know. I didn't see it. I just see it like after fights. Like everybody talk about that. Everybody talk about that after fight, and I think, and after, only after fight, like next day, I see that like, oh, have logo. But then during the fight, I don't think about that.
Do you think something was up? Because they said that he was hitting so hard in the back that the logo came off. But honestly, all my years of watching UFC, I've never seen this before. I've never seen the logo come off the gloves. So do you believe that, or do you think it was something else?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, bro, he hit hard, man. I fight with one guy, but my face like I fight with 10 guys, man. So he hit hard, and maybe who knows? Maybe he punched the pads or what he punched on before the fight, and the logo go out. I don't know, maybe.
Okay. Have you rewatched the fight?
I rewatched just a very little bit. I wanna watch it because my UFC fight pass, my UFC program in my phone is not open in America. I don't know why. It's only work in Thailand and when I
Yeah,
go.
because there's different deals. Because here in America, it has to be ESPN Plus, and over there, it's Fight Pass. Someone, I'm sure,
Yeah.
can get you a link. I'm just wondering, based on what you remember from the fight, what you wish you could. Obviously, you just talked about the uppercut, but is there something you wish you could have done differently in the fight to secure the win?
I do. You know what I want to do? I do. I wanna when I go into the fight, I wanna move a lot. I don't wanna attack him a lot because I wanna save energy. I wanna split my energy to all rounds, and I try to call him to attacks. And But some when I do it, he still catch me when I attack him. And But yeah, this time I make more. I follow my game plan 100%, and I like it. And I like it. What happened? I just don't like this uppercut because it's changed this fight.
What do you think happens? How does this fight play out if it's a 5-round fight?
With short notice or with
No,
like,
no, regular fight, regular camp.
regular fight, regular camp, 5 rounds. I for sure I believe like it's going almost the same, almost the same. Uh, if I follow the game plan, I have a lot of chance to win.
And what is the game plan to beat him, in your opinion?
To call him to attacks, to play with him,
Mm.
play with him, and not going to highlight like he like the war, the
Yeah.
close distance, and all of these crazy moments. Yeah, more move, step back, move, call him going forward. Yeah, that's what I have to do with him.
You know, it was really interesting. First round, 2 takedowns, successful takedowns from you, but then no more takedowns. How come?
Man, I'm surprised. You know, when I take him down first time, I tell him, I take him down first time, and I say him, bro, look, I take you down, and he say me like, oh yeah, come on, and he stand up. We continued. He give me kick again. I catch this again. We roll, and I tell him again, bro, look again. I take you down again. But second time I didn't hear anything from him. Yeah.
Why
But
didn't
it's
you try
really
for more?
surprised. I don't have plan to wrestle with him. It happens just like
Why didn't you try for more takedowns?
because he I don't know. I don't want to take damage to my leg. Maybe I'm a little bit worried about my injured leg. From this because it's my left knee, and he's kick good. He have good low kick, and maybe I protect the leg. That's why it happens. But after he stopped doing the low kicks, and yeah, maybe because of this.
How is your foot? There was a cut on it, right?
Food is perfect.
No problems.
Yeah, no problem. Food is perfect.
Okay, both. Your body feels okay now?
Everything feels okay. Only my face little bit still have blue eyes and my stitches open. Yeah.
I saw afterwards you took a picture. You did a video with big bags of popcorn.
Yeah.
Did you eat that? Here you are. Look at this.
No man, we just on the backside, and after fights, after I have stitches, I see them big many popcorns, and I say, okay, I wanna make some video with that. But nobody telling me like, hey, you can take one, enjoy with that, and I just make the video and go. But I'm happy to take something with me.
He said after the fight that he would like to fight for the belt next. How do you think he would do against Islam?
If I wish so much he can fight for the belt. I wish it so much, man, and I think he deserves it more than everybody on this division. More than everybody for sure, and I hope he get it. I'm with him. If he fight against Islam, I'm with him. I'm on his side.
You think he deserves it more than Armin or Charles or even Ilya moving up?
Yes,
Why?
100%. He deserved it before he go. No, he lost to Max, and he lost to Max, and after loss you cannot fight to the belt. But now he win me. I know I'm not big rankings something, but still, man. If we watch it, he's a star. He's a star. He have to fight to the belt, and everybody love him. Arman, he have his chance, but happens what happens. Charles Oliveira also, but I think the Justin is most of guy who deserve it right now.
And do you think he, like knowing him like you know him now, you fought him twice, 6 rounds. Do you think that he could beat Islam?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Islam is a tough opponent. He's have a huge wrestling, huge grappling, and I think Justin have a little trouble with grappling. He have some trouble with that, but he have to make good camp, work about it, getting ready for that, and he have good chance for sure. But he hit like a train.
How quickly do you want to return?
Oh, it's just my skin on the face. I think 3-4 months. I'm getting ready. I come back to home now and then start work. Honestly, I want to go train right now to the gym. I want to go some lifting.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have someone in mind who would make sense for you?
Don't think about that still. Don't think about that still. But I don't know who deserve fight with me, or I deserve to fight somebody. I don't know. Maybe I don't know Gamrot. I don't know. I don't know what happened 3 months. He still not. I think he only one guy who still not have fight.
Mhm.
And these guys who I don't know, man. Still, honestly, I don't think about that still.
Okay. Have you thought about featherweight?
Yep. Featherweight, you see, I'm too small on this weight division. I take fights short notice, and when we go into fight with Justin, it's like this and like this. This is me and this is Justin. So maybe I'm started thinking right now about change weight division because I'm really cut weight very easy this time, and this is short notice. I very easy, bro. All this week, my nutritionist Jason, he tried to gain my weight because my weight go low so fast.
Wow.
Yes, and yeah, right now I have to think maybe about it.
So it's possible that your next fight is going to be at featherweight.
Yes, it's possible. It's possible.
Do you think strong possibility?
I think yes.
Wow. Okay. Is this something you've been thinking about for a while?
I think about it long time. Yeah, because like I said, I'm not big. I'm not big on this division, and my body is I lose weight so easy.
So even though this fight was short notice, you didn't have to struggle. How much do you think you weighed on fight night? Or do you know? Did you weigh yourself?
During the fight, you mean?
Yeah, like the next day. How much do you... How much?
77 kg. I'm 77 kg next day. 76 and a half, 77 kg. 170. I wake up 161.
161. Wow. And what do you think he was? Did you felt he was much bigger?
I feel he big, man. When we go fight, I see the big guy. When I kick him, I feel like I kick him with my fingers.
Wow. Have you you've never fought at featherweight before, right?
A long time, just on the beginning.
Okay. In MMA?
Yep.
Okay. But obviously your UFC career has been 155. When you look at featherweight, are there matchups there that excite you, that interest you?
You mean some guys?
Yeah.
Also, don't think about that.
You don't.
Yeah, but I want to fight with top guys. With some of top guys. These guys, they're very interesting. All of these guys on top 10, everybody very interesting. But man, these guys have a trouble if I come there.
They'll be in trouble.
They'll be in trouble, man. Everybody.
I think this is very interesting. I like this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Did you tell this to your team? Are they on board with it? Are they in agreement?
Yeah, I tell this to the team, and I'm going to check my bones, all of my body, muscles, bones. Like I want to make sure I can do it like very, very with good quality. I don't want to rush. I want to check 7 times and make it 1 time.
Mm-hmm. By the way, did you watch the main event on Saturday?
Yeah. Yeah, the doctor makes stitches to me, and I'm watching the fight. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of it, about Alex's performance?
Honestly, I believe for Ankalaev.
Yeah.
And when we sit with him, and when people say "ooh" on press conference, I tell him, "Bro, you are new. You're in the new." I tell him before I make this video how he play game.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And but about Pereira, I think, bro, he's he fights so many times and his resource go down.
Yeah.
I think just because he fight many times, this fight is going like that. He can fight much better.
He needs to take a break.
I think too many fights, bro. Too many fights.
Wow. So you think it's that and not Ankalaev's style, the threat of the takedown, all that stuff?
No, Ankalaev's style is also very good. He pressure him. He always makes scared him against takedowns. He tried to do takedowns again. Pressure. It's hard to fight with guys like Ankalaev did. He did perfect. But still, I'm thinking about this, why Pereira fight not like Pereira, because I think because of many fights and his resource just little down.
One name that I thought you would mention is maybe Mauricio Ruffi, this guy who made the kick before your fight at the start of the pay-per-view. Incredible fighter, this guy. He has kicks like you.
You know what happened? I would sit and we watched the fight, and I sit to my corner and I say, guys, right now he knocked him out in 2 seconds.
Wow.
It's so funny.
That's an incredible kick.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
That would be a fun fight, but he's now, different weight class.
What do you say?
Well, he's he'd be 155, you're 145.
No, I'm not 145 yet.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I thought you were saying it's inevitable. Strong possibility.
Yeah, I'm not 145, but all of these guys, these new guys, also this guy from other guy who choked Johnny Turner.
Yeah.
By triangle.
Bahamondes.
All of these guys, they're going up. They're going up, and they deserve fight with the top 15, top 10. And UFC. For me, is a fight with anybody. I'm always ready. I never say no to anybody. And so if UFC give me this fight, I know how to fight with them.
Well, that's why we love you. We wish you safe travels back home. You're going back to Thailand now?
Yes, I'm going back to Thailand. No, I want to go to DC. My flight is 16, and I want to go to DC. I want to go to Michigan, visit some of my friends.
Okay.
Check my body, make sure I go into 145 with good quality, and and go Thailand. Come back to the beach and sun and all of this no stress country.
Yes, this bullshit in America. By the way, next time we see you in action, you think it's 145? What are you feeling right now?
Right now, 50-50, man. I'm gonna check it Thursday.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck. Thank you for coming on and talking about the fight. I appreciate it very much. I wish you the best. And great fight, amazing fight. Still think you won the third round and you win the fight, but that's okay. I'm gonna drop it. And always appreciate your time and wish you the best and a nice safe trip back home.
Thank you, Ariel. All the best.
Talk to you soon. There he is, the great Rafael Fiziev, with some breaking news right there. Strongly considering a move to 145 pounds, and this obviously opens up a whole new list of opponents for him. We quickly saw that top 10. Can I see that top 10 again? That featherweight top 10? I mean, there's a lot of names there. Brian Ortega is there, and I feel like his days are numbered. I saw he just cut his hair.
Yeah, chopped it right off.
Yeah.
I mean, Fiziev, Lerone Murphy.
It's nice.
Yair Rodriguez.
Yair or
Arnold
Pitbull
Allen.
versus...
Big jump there. I don't know if he's gonna get that. Josh Emmett's not bad. Arnold Allen.
Our boy Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that...
Who's in the 15? Let me see. The 15 to 11.
You don't think he could get into the top 10 jumping up?
I don't know.
Jumping, going down?
I think he can, but just off the bat, would they give it to him?
Yusuf Zalal.
Can I?
Ooh, like that.
Can I just say how much I love the idea of him just like calling out prospects? Like he's like, I see Ignacio Bahamondes, sure, whatever. Yeah. Like he's willing to take on all comers, which I love.
His demeanor with the giant beard and the goggle glasses.
He's the man.
It's great.
Big fan.
I enjoy his obviously his fighting style. Again, I will maintain everyone was off their rocker when they said that this was a bad replacement fight. You got that fight, which by the way was the fight of the night at UFC 313. I know it wasn't the greatest pay-per-view of all time, but it was an incredible...
I'm going to give them some grace because they were fantasizing about what Gaethje and Hooker was going to be.
I get that.
But this was a great fight, and I said the same. Like, how could you not be happy with this one as an alternative?
I saw, by the way, I saw Islam's head coach Javier Mendez and others campaigning for the Gaethje fight, saying the Gaethje fight makes sense. With all due respect, I know they're managed by the same person, and I know we're trying to keep it in the family here. But really, like in what world does that make sense over Charles, over Arman, and over the featherweight champion who's moving up? It doesn't make sense. Really? Again, crazier things have happened. What do I always say? Alex Gustafsson got a title shot coming off of a knockout loss, but there are people who I think deserve it a little bit more, no? And I guess deserve is a funky word.
Yes. I mean, honestly, last year we saw, I know circumstances were different, but like Poirier in a somewhat similar situation. I want to say BSD was like 11 or 12 when he beat him, and he was coming off a knockout loss to Justin Gaethje before that.
Yeah. Do you guys think there's a chance?
No,
Oh, yeah,
no,
I definitely
I
think there's a
don't
chance.
think it's
You
gonna
both
happen.
said yes and no at the exact same time.
Yes.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
100% think there's a chance.
I think there's a chance.
Justin Gaethje's next for something.
Mhm.
Why not?
I said no.
Crazier things have
We
happened.
just talked about it yesterday.
yeah.
Timing,
Timing. We
availability.
Just did.
Yep.
It's every
Yep.
every opportunity is based on that now. If Charles or Armin or whoever can't make it, Justin will slide right in there.
I think Ilya Tavoria will be ready to roll.
I think it's got to be. I think it's got to. By the way, wouldn't hate Justin versus Charles, Justin versus Armin.
Like those.
Justin Armin's fresh.
Yeah. Justin versus the winner of Chandler versus Patty.
The problem with the Ilya and Islam fight is if they are not on the same timeline, that's a big issue because you can't get into a situation where one is waiting on the other and doesn't fight when they're ready. They need these champions to be. They need at least Islam to be active because they need his belt to be defended because they need these pay-per-views. And so it's going to be a problem if Ilya can't make it on the date that Islam needs him to make it. And
Right.
so I wouldn't be surprised if they go to another option if he can't. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Ilya says, "Yeah, this is my shot. I'm taking it." So we'll see. But I wouldn't be shocked.
I said to you guys, hard out 4 o'clock. We play 2 on Tuesdays, so we have 6 minutes.
You
to
did it.
Oh, we
spare.
said
Wow, you
4.
did it so good.
Yeah, you guys didn't hear that.
I thought we agreed on 342.
Are there super chats today, Frankie?
Yep, there's one super chat.
Why do you say it with that tone? It almost sounds like you're being bothered here. Were
No,
you doing
I was-
something? Were you busy?
I think it was more of just the one.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
Super chat.
Oh,
Super
thanks.
chat.
Yeah, we didn't do that. We didn't do that yesterday.
Did we not? That's too bad.
Okay.
Hold on, let's pull it up.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me hold on. Da, 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 da,
No problem.
Just hold on, man.
da, 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 da.
All right. So Salad Fingers writes in.
Do you know what movie that's from?
No, I don't actually. What is it?
Cable Guy?
Oh yeah, I've only seen
Remember that?
once. Yeah. Patella Fingers writes in. Will the UFC's new TV deal in 2026 affect other markets, i.e., in 2026, will anything change with Sportsnet in Canada?
Oh, no. These are different deals. Now, I do think that at some point they're going to try to align all of them like WWE did so well. It all came to a head. They did a great job of that. And so it's probably in their best interest for everything to expire at the same time. But no, the Sportsnet deal started last January. They still got some years left on the TNT deal in the UK and Ireland. Obviously, America is coming to an end now. So, no, I know we talk about it. Let's be honest, it's the most lucrative of all their multimedia deals. But if you are a fan in Europe, in Canada, etc., it's not changing the way you'll be watching fights, at least in 26. What else?
There was a follow-up question
Oh.
to that, which was, what is your favorite rusty object?
My favorite rusty object. I don't know. That seems like a trick question.
It's a Salad Fingers reference.
No. A what? South Park?
Salad Fingers.
Not familiar.
That was the
with
name of the super chat questioner.
No, not familiar. What else?
That's it, man.
Oh, I saw another one pop up. Did they take it away?
I don't know. I don't see it.
Oh. Yeah, I see one right here.
Oh.
No, wait. Oh, no.
Okay, which is it, man? We got to have one or we don't have one?
Well, I did. Can someone. What the hell? Is Salad Fingers like a character?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did see one.
I see one here from Sucker Free.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What does it say? Where's it at?
He says, does having Natty on
Yeah,
break
that's the one I
WWE
saw.
prize bill?" Yeah.
Yeah. Frank.
What's that?
Sucker Free, $5. Or is this a Jordan?
It doesn't. Yeah, like there's nothing in the super chat channel that we use.
Us in the back here don't place blame on other people.
Well, I just see it.
When we go
Sucker
one,
Free.
we go all.
He spent, $5 good on this question, and I feel like,
Yeah.
or were we trying to avoid it? Were you guys protecting me, which I appreciate?
I certainly was not.
Yeah, no. Jordan was though.
That's what I'm here for.
I mentioned someone asked me last week who was the most loyal on the team, and then Pizzi texted me after saying that he couldn't believe that I mentioned him because he says that Rick has exemplified way more loyalty, and I said, you know what, you're right. You're
The
right. That
loyal
was.
thing to
Oh,
say.
wow. A week
were you
later.
pissed-
How nice.
were you
I feel
pissed
so
about-
good now.
Were you pissed about that?
I
Have you been
mean,
holding
you know
on to
how many
this?
years we've got in the game together.
that's true.
That was kind of a slap in the
ESPN.
face.
Wow,
but
you
I'm
know
glad
what?
a week later.
I forgot.
I'm glad a week later. And
I wanted to write that wrong.
Yeah,
I wanted to write that wrong. But by the way, shout out to PT. PT called it out.
He's a good lad.
No, he's right. Those are the rankings. Rick, PT. I'd say Jordan.
Hey, I'll take it.
No, Andy above Jordan.
What the fuck, man?
This
Well,
is
I won't
always
take
a
that.
good idea.
I don't like this.
No, Rick, PT, Andy, Jordan. I'd say like
Brad.
Wait, do I keep getting
Brad.
slid down the list here? Is that what's happening?
no, Brad's after.
Tyler.
Or it's Tyler, integral part. Spencer, of course. Spencer actually is probably 2 above PT.
The the parking garage attendant.
They're fantastic. Oh, the front desk over here, incredible. Coffee shop with a smile every
Guy in
day.
the lobby downstairs.
Come see, come sa.
There were
all
some
right,
issues.
I got one.
There were some
Parking,
issues.
parking attendant?
Come see, come sa. Parking attendant loves me. I give them Celsius. They love me down there.
Give the whole office.
who
Celsius.
doesn't love
Everybody?
Celsius?
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah,
happy.
everyone loves us.
The Wegman staff.
Wegman staff, fantastic.
So when do I come into
Spoon,
this?
Farber, of course, they brought us in.
All the super chats.
All the super chats. I mean, Sucker Free has been phenomenal. Let's not forget about Salad Fingers, Walter.
10 seconds to hard out here. 10 seconds to hard out.
Oh, geez. Okay, well, you can hear my music. And then, of course, you know, there's Frank and Connor and everyone else. But we feel the love. We feel the love around these parts. By the way, Virgil Ortiz is going to join us in 90 minutes, one of the best in the world. So stay tuned for that. In an hour, our show will begin. I don't even know. Has anything else happened in the world of boxing? Every day. What can we talk about? Lou DiBella just coming out. Did I ask any questions?
He came out hot. No, he knew what he wanted to talk about.
I don't know if I asked a single question. I think I said like a why or what do you mean by that?
Yeah, he came out hot. He's got a strong F word. He's got a strong No one knows who the fuck he is.
There's some people who are meant to say it. He's meant to say it.
I was thinking a Lou DiBella podcast would actually be kind of interesting. Like he just tells it like it is. I do have some breaking news, guys. One of the most, I think, talked about and beloved and memorable guests in the history of this program will be joining us for the first time in a very long time in a live interview format. I did speak to him during the pandemic, but that was not live. And so this is the first time in a very long time. It is, of course, the great Jason Mayhem Miller. He'll be joining us on tomorrow's program. People till this day talk to us about the Lucky Patrick interview. He'll be on. Jan Blachowicz will be on. Thomas Carty will join us as well, and perhaps one other. So another loaded show. A little something for everyone, like today's program. That'll be tomorrow. Anyway, thank you to our guests, Lou DiBella, Natalya Neidhart, Rafael Fiziev. Thanks to you. Thanks to them. Back on Wednesday. I'm out of here.